Long time listener, first time caller.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Long time listener, first time caller.
First time
caller.
First time caller.
After downloading the free Discord app, use the invite link in the description or scan this QR code with your phone to be taken to the Beyond Wednesdays Discord server.
First time listener, long time caller.
There you will see the Modern Comic Mayhem category on the left with the call-in waiting room. Join that call-in waiting room, set up your camera and your mic, and have your questions ready.
Call me now! Tonight is trying to find out who's responsible for 2 acts of video piracy. Last night, someone broke into regular programming here on Channel 9 and on Chicago's public broadcasting station. As Larry Roderick reports, the first interruption took place during last night's 9 o'clock news.
Sports anchor Dan Rowan had just started his Sunday night Bears report when the screen suddenly went black, then came back on with a new unruly presence. A man wearing a Max Headroom mask. We had been taken over by a video pirate for a short time, until technicians here changed microwave channels between the studio and the transmitter and knocked him off the air.
And apparently somebody with some microwave equipment was able to interfere with our signal going to the Hancock transmitter.
Now, this is not just anybody off the street. He has to have an electronic expertise of some level, right?
Yes, he does. It takes very sophisticated equipment to do this at a significant power level. So this isn't something that just anyone would be able to accomplish.
But Channel 9 wasn't alone in its Max Headroom appearance. There was even a longer episode on Channel 11, public broadcasting.
Only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
A little after 11 p.m., Doctor Who was knocked out by the Max look-alike, who pitched a soft drink, then performed a series of antics that station officials found less than humorous before the pirate himself pulled the plug.
Fortunately, it was a self-destruct mechanism. It was beyond our control. We now have already implemented steps whereby we could take something like that off the air immediately if it were to occur again. It did, of its own volition, go off the air, as I say, after about a minute and a half.
It annoyed some viewers.
No, I just thought it would be just a slight mess-up, but that in the middle of the tape, it's going to be... We're going to have to tape over it.
Angered others.
Somebody wants to get attention, what do? They go break into a television broadcast. Just to get attention, like throwing a brick through your window, so to speak.
Okay.
It's not too bright, really.
Well, some thought it was a lot of fun. So what did you think about the whole thing?
Very, very funny.
It may seem rather humorous, but there is more to it than that. For when this person is caught, he or she will face both civil and criminal penalties.
It is very serious, and we'd like to inform anybody who's involved in this type of thing that it is serious and that we will take every step that we can to find out who is doing it. And once we have determined that, we will make sure that the full extent of the law is carried out.
Meanwhile, Channel 9 engineers say they have taken steps to prevent further appearances of the mock Max. This is Larry Roderick, WGN News.
Well, the FCC says last night's piracy was the first of its kind.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, robots in disguise.
It's the Decepticon communicators. Get more Autobots.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
The Transformers, from Hasbro.
The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday night, a special Saturday night, the Saturday before NYC. I feel like I've been doing this for 3 weekends in a row now. I thought NYC was last weekend. Now it's this weekend, I think, upcoming weekend. So we've actually got somebody going to NYCC tonight. We'll talk to Television here. We got him chilling with us. James from Hive is here. Josh from International Comics, and of course Hood. What's going on, Hood? How you doing, brother? Look at you all regaliaed out, brother.
I'm ready to go, baby. The hell with them Niners, bro. Oh man, I hope it's not a bad day tomorrow, man. Fucking Texas blew it against Oklahoma today, so.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting updates on the Dodgers game. Chat, give me updates on the Dodgers game.
I'll give you an update right now, bro.
Let's hear it.
You gotta say
89 live watching with us right now. Thanks for hanging out in the pre-show sessions, you guys. I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you guys get to enjoy some pre-show goodies yourself. And if you don't know what we're talking about, that means you're not watching the show live because I cut that shit.
Arizona 9-0, bro.
Whoa, damn. I'll break it for everybody right now. I have some videos I'm going to put out, but I pulled 2 Corbin Carroll autos from Topps Chrome. Yeah.
Wow.
It was nice. It was nice. So we're keeping an eye on that kid to get some shit graded. Dude, we're gonna have an epic show tonight, you guys. We have a fucking drama alert segment that's probably gonna be the whole show.
Hey Brian, can you watch your language, Brian? Please?
Yeah. A drama alert.
The first 30 seconds good.
Yeah.
It's good.
My God.
Yeah. I almost put Tilla in the drama alert section, but he saved himself. He saved himself. Yeah.
Saved myself. All right. Cool.
You did, bro. You did. You did a good one, man.
How exactly did I save myself? I wasn't aware of saving or anything like that. And by the way, I'm ready for the drama. Bring the smoke. Let's go.
Yeah. So
hey, I ain't getting involved in this shit, bro. I didn't say nothing, Tilla.
So I
make a video and fuck me up, you know, because all AI and shit.
I see an Instagram post that Tilla puts out. I think it was Tilla. No, it might have been Hive. I think it might have been Hive.
It was probably us. Yeah.
Yeah. And Hive puts out a post. It was Hive or Nerdy Girl. And Hive puts out a post. Let me see if I can find it here. And it's the Musk versus Zuck book, right? And somebody made a comment. Somebody made a comment. Was it on your guys's? Or it might have been on Tilla. It might have been on one of yours. You let me know. I saw something where somebody made a comment basically saying, what does this mean to the people from
Brian, it was
San
on
Diego?
Nerdy's post. It was on Nerdy's post, and it was me that made the comment.
Okay.
That's where you're getting it twisted.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it was on Nerdy's post, and it was me that made the comment.
Okay, so that's basically what I'm talking about. Where's the post?
Yeah.
Here's shout out to Nerdy Girl. Here's the post, and somebody said, maybe this isn't it. Maybe this isn't it either. Maybe it was another post. Anyways.
Yeah, this one was from 4 days ago. I think it was a little older than that.
Okay. What is the deal with this book for NYCC, Tilla?
Well, first off, thank you for bringing up the topic. Anytime you guys mention anything that I'm working on, I always appreciate it, good or bad, because I'm watching, I'm taking notes. This is our second book that we're dropping, so it's a learning process for us. So I'm paying attention. Anytime you guys are saying, or anybody for that matter is talking about one of our books, I'm reading into it and trying to learn from see what I can learn from this. So I'm glad that you bring that up. I'm glad that you have questions about it. I just want to let you guys know that people were so excited about this damn book. We really didn't expect it. The first book that we dropped was at Comix Pro earlier this year, which was Blank Canvas. and that had a healthy buzz right after we put it out. And, you know, as you can expect with each book we put out, we're going to do bigger and better. That's my goal anyway, bigger and better, every book that comes out. So how do we top one of the more anticipated books that came out of Comics Pro? We drop a very timely, current event-based book utilizing very controversial technology in this little bomb of a book, Musk vs. Zuck. You know, we dropped the bomb on him. And that was at Comic-Con San Diego. And I really wasn't sure. I mean, we did it for free. We put out there for free. And, you know, it did really well on the secondary market. And the people are interested. We've hit a chord, you know. And what I learned from my time in the music industry, I was in the music business for 15 years, was that you don't fight a hit. You don't fight a hit. Like, if you've got the hit and everybody in the studio is like, this is a hit, this is the one you go to radio with, you don't say, I'm going to do this. We've struck a little bit of a chord with this book. And we put out 100 for free. So all that we're doing with this new version that we're putting out this week at Comic-Con in New York is 250 new copies. It has an altered cover slightly. People loved the original cover. That's one reason why they wanted it so bad. They wanted the original cover. So it's not like, hey, let's make something, you know, like a totally new thing. We altered it. You can see the difference. You'll notice, on my version, we've got the orange cover. And this is the Superman colorway is the one that you're looking at that's coming out this weekend. So there is a noticeable difference between the two. Like, immediately, you know, if you've got the Superman colorway or if you have the original. And so I hope that appeases those who really want like something that definitely is, well, my version is the original version versus the round 2 that came out. That's cool. And that's really cool. But how you saved yourself
up with a remix, bro.
How you saved yourself, in my opinion, is you also changed it up. You added extra material to this, right?
Oh, yeah. 12 pages. So the original book was like 22 pages. So you're getting a third more of the book. And there is a little bit of a resolution where the other one was slightly open-ended and kind of ending on a to be continued. Yeah. You do have a little bit of a resolution here. So 12 new pages. And I'm happy to hear that, you know, the little bit of forgiveness there, Brian.
Big time, bro.
You know, that we saved ourselves. Yeah, of course. I'm not going to put out the same book. I would never.
It would have sucked.
No.
And you would have been, you would have been eaten alive. But that's not even the best part. All I'm gonna say is that make sure you guys search out Tilla at NYCC. Figure out a way to find the guy. He'll probably be everywhere like he was in San Diego. I wish I was going to New York, dude. I wish I was gonna hang out with you guys. I'm really bummed out that you guys you're gonna be hanging out with the Hive boys. You're gonna be hanging out with Nerdy Girl, Vinny. Right? Vinny's gonna be hanging out.
Yeah.
So
Vinny might be hanging out with us tonight too. He said he was going to pull in and say hello.
I told him get on here. So I hope that he does, man. He's got.
Well, I know we're working out. I think Jonathan and Tilla were working out a scheduled time to have him come by the booth too and sign some copies. So
yes.
So we've been working that out, trying to figure out schedules and stuff. But we'll make it happen for people too.
Yeah, NYCC is going to be crazy.
You get Elon and Mark to sign that book, bro?
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
That would be wild.
Do you think that they know about it?
Elon would sign it. I bet you Elon would sign it.
Do you think that they know about it?
Fuck yeah.
Or Zuck never would. Elon would for sure. He'd sign
I think
that.
Elon would. I think Elon knows about this.
I bet you
I think
would.
he does. Yeah.
Catch him at a tech conference.
The book, I definitely positioned it in a way that's like flattering to them. I mean, even look at them on the cover; they're ripped. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to tease these guys. And I mean, granted, like everybody's trying to tease them all the time. So I'm sure that they have thick skin. They're not worried about what some comic book dude has to worry about out there. But at the same time, I like to honor the people that we parody. And you know, I don't like when it's a bad party for somebody, unless they're an obviously evil person. If you're doing like a book on Nazis or something like that, or like vilifying people. But, you know, in this case, people have a lot to say about both these individuals, good and bad. But when I choose to parody, I'm trying to at least like everybody can have a good, like roasting, like a good roast or if you open a Mad Magazine or something like that, and you know, normally it's everybody's in on the joke. So I don't think that they do know about this yet, but I think after this Comic-Con, I think that they will personally, because it's made enough noise to rise above the normal, like, oh, this meme went viral today. Instead, we've got, oh, at Comic-Con, there was this Musk vs. Zuck actual comic book. It's 32 pages total. So, you know, things like that tend to rise, you know, find their way to the group or to the inner circle when they realize, like, some weirdo out there really was into this idea and actually made a comic about it. Let me just pay attention, make sure he's not a psycho. And then hopefully when they realize it, when they read it, they realize that that's not the case. At least I don't think so. And and they'll rock with it. And, you know, the golden ticket obviously would be a mention or some kind of like a photo or a thank you or like a shout out or even a fuck you, whatever. I'll take it all. So,
Where
you know,
did I
let's
see?
get them talking, you know?
I saw a crazy photo with Musk at some event or doing something lately. I can't remember what it was. It was maybe I saw it on the Bogcast or something. But I see Elon Musk being the type of person that like loves laughing at shit like that, dude. So
yeah, you know, all kinds of weird stuff out there. You know what I mean? If you're like a super celebrity or something, like I'm sure there's funny stuff that shows up on your doorstep all the time, and some of them you got to say like, this is actually really cool, man. Whoever did this, shout out to you. And it's happened to me on multiple occasions. Like I've made a lot of connections like that, just making fan art for people, and they actually reach out to me. So it's funny because that's been like the whole beginning of my artistic journey, going back to when I was in middle school. I had a teacher, a science teacher, who looked like Colonel Sanders. He looked just like Colonel Sanders, and he walked with a limp. And like he was our science teacher, and you know, we called him the Chicken Man. And like I was in in class, and I was drawing a picture of him as Colonel Sanders with a broken ruler, and he was stabbing and killing some chickens. And it said something like, "I am the Chicken Man, I rule over all." Or I can't remember what I wrote, but we started passing this page around the classroom, and kids are laughing and stuff. The teacher sees it getting passed around, walks over and just snatches it. Just like looks at it and like looks up, and I just like my face just went white as a ghost because it was the Chicken Man looking at a picture of himself as Colonel Sanders stabbing and murdering all these chickens on the ground. So anyway, long story short, I got called in for like after school, you know, talk with me and my mom. So my mom is sitting there with me. My mom held it down like a G. She's like, "This is him making a caricature of you. He's honoring you through," and it was really like, yo, I made him looking like a superhero stabbing these chickens and stuff, whatever. But it made me learn about the power of parody.
Yes.
The power of parody and the fact of, you know, you actually have to keep in mind other people's feelings at the same time too. You don't want to make them like look like it's hideous. And I think that's why he like let me off the hook, because he realized it was a pretty good picture. And
don't be a dick.
Yeah, just don't be a dick. You know, that's a good rule, like life lesson in general. But some people, that's where they make that's their money maker. So I mean,
so
you know,
what are your plans for NYCC? Do you have any thoughts and plans about where you're going to be at? Any
run amok with the Hive guys. We're going to be hanging out with Hive. I'm super stoked about that. At Comic-Con San Diego, I was able to hang out with Jonathan and over at his booth, and they were looking it looked like they had a rough night the night before, like maybe have a couple drinks or something. So I actually snuck them in some beers, like under my jacket in there, and I was just like, what would I want? Because, you know, I used to DJ, and anytime somebody comes to the booth and gives me a shot, gives me a beer, it's like, yo, bro, thank you, lifesaver. So they were looking like they needed to replenish, a little hair of the dog. So slid them the beer.
That was the night after the bad idea party, and we left that and ended up we were out way too late. Brian, you know, we stayed with Brian that night. So Brian got to see the aftermath of me and Jonathan partying maybe a little later than we should have that night.
It all makes sense.
Mushrooms, yeah. I was on mushrooms.
Yeah, we crawled in miserable that next day.
Yeah.
So, but it was awesome just connecting with them and, them like giving me the chance, like saying, because we asked them, like we approached them, like, can we just leave some of these Musk vs. Zuck books here and just anybody that stops by, give them one. And they were so cool about that. So I'm happy to reconnect with them on this and doing something official. And we'll also have some other stuff going on. You mentioned Nerdy Girl earlier. So we'll be doing some stuff with them as well. And then I'll just be kind of cruising around. If you see me or Vinny, the two of us, we'll just be moving around. And we're very excited, not only about the reissue of this, Musk vs. Zuck book, but we've got a second book that we're putting out. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna talk about it, but it's extremely timely. It's even more timely than the Musk vs. Zuck book. And we put that book out within 3 weeks of the fight even being mentioned on social media. So we are like, this other one, the only way that we were so on time is because we were actually ahead of the curve, because this book has been in the process since February of this year, and the topic is just now being talked about. And I know, because it was a big topic last night on Joe Rogan's podcast with Joe Rogan and Sam Altman of ChatGPT. Yeah. They talk at length about it. And it's the first time that I've heard it actually mentioned, but I was like, this is perfect because, we're dropping this book this week. So it's just like, it's so exciting. And I'll just give you guys a quick preview. All right. So, read it, think about it. And this is what we got coming soon. It's a crazy, crazy comic. It's a crazy topic. It's awesome. And I hope that, it gets some people talking about, what 2024 is going to look like, this presidential election, some of how technology is going to play into it. And at the same time, I feel like it's my best looking comic yet. And this is going to be a freebie, guys. So if you're around the Hive booth, if you're around the Nerdy Girl booth, or if you see me and Vinny walking around, we might have one of these books on them. And if you saw what Musk vs. Zuck did, we're hoping that this book has similar effects on people. We hope that they like it. And if nothing else, it's fucking for free. So, enjoy. Yep. It's a freebie for you guys. That's another something special. Something else that we want to do is like we did Comics Pro, we did Comic-Con San Diego, and we're just finding like this kind of a cool groove that we found is just giving to the people, and then it gives back in the way of like this conversation right here, and like in other ways like this. So the more you get, the more you give. If you build it, they will come. Just putting this one out there, but I'm super excited about this book and that it's been almost a year in the making. And finally able to put it out, especially when it's such a hot topic.
There you go.
You brought up.
I'll give you guys a second look in case you missed it.
What is it? Chat
GPT.
Yeah. So I didn't realize how powerful a tool this was.
Oh, it's nuts how powerful.
Until I typed in how to win an argument with your wife, bro. Look, number one.
You got that.
Tell you to murder them.
It gives you steps on how to win an argument with your wife, bro. Look at that. Hey, bro, it gives you 8 things to do to win an argument, bro. Are you serious?
Hey, ChatGPT for president.
Yeah.
Try those. See if they work.
I'm about to try out some of these techniques. The first one says, listen actively and show genuine interest in her perspective.
Now you need to ask ChatGPT.
Express yourself calmly.
Yeah. Good one. Check. It's all very sound advice, and I just look forward to the day when we don't have to talk about AI. Like, let's sit in here and have a talk about AI conversation, because it's really like annoying. I know people are tired of hearing about AI. I know people are tired of reading about how AI will. So, I'm just looking forward to it like fading to the background, where it's just we can talk about art again, and we can talk about books, and we're not talking about the technology that made it, because it's just the norm, which is what this is becoming. It's becoming the norm. Mm-hmm. We don't need to mention, all these other things behind in the background that I don't think many people. Well, it annoys some people. It's just like when you bring up NFTs and stuff. Like it's just like it's like nails on a chalkboard. People don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to just not talking about it. Like let's just talk about good books and how and ones that are standing out and ways that people are making it that's new and exciting and really just border.
And the important thing is this though, man. And if not for nothing, I think the important thing about this community is, at least for right now, is that as long as you're not using it in some weird way where you don't want to mention it or, that type of thing, like that's one thing. There's something to be said about people who are on the tip of that spear, who are using it, who are open and using it, who are using it in cool ways. It's not the only way, but it's very interesting to see how it's being used. It's gonna be used no matter what. It's a fucking.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's an argument for responsible use. I remember us having this conversation after San Diego when we talked about Tilla's first book, and there was a misconception. The entire thing, it was 100% AI, and we had talked with Tilla at length, and we had that conversation on your show, Brian. That I was like, no, there was some touch up stuff that was done. It was a small amount of it that was utilized. It's the same way as Hartman, right? Hartman utilizes AI to finish up his cards, but you can't look at Hartman's cards and say it's not artistic.
Yes.
You can't look at the way they're done and say it didn't have an artist's hand or an artist's touch. There's responsible use, and obviously this is a long conversation, not something that needs to be done tonight, but there's a difference between responsible use and then people trying to pass off something that they barely had any involvement in as something that they created themselves. Well, and there's a big difference between the two.
The
industry's starting to learn that. They're starting to ask the questions, and when the right questions get asked, then we're going to get responsible use as an ultimate response to it. I think I hope in the comic industry.
We have
I promise you it will. I promise it's coming. It's coming. I'm talking to people behind the scenes that have amazing things that are bubbling. That is just it's gamifying storytelling. Which, it might not be everybody's thing. Some people just want to flip through a book and read a book. Other people want to immerse themselves in that world, and they want to influence the storyline, and they want to just experience stories in a much more immersive way. And I don't think there's wrong with any way of consuming stories. But for those that are just looking for that new experience, we're going to create it.
See, what I like about Tilla is that it's that medium where I remember Todd McFarlane a long time ago said that comic books is the only medium where a kid will see a word and then grab a dictionary, look it up so he can see what it means in reference to what he's reading or whatever. I'm for moving moving the needle and getting people to talk about comics and opening up the book and instead of just buying covers and looking at what's inside and what it's about and just appreciating the artist's idea. I mean, that's what I'm for. At least it's something different. Somebody's trying something revolutionary in conjunction with AI, not letting AI just determine the whole thing, but the ideas are coming from Tilla, and then he's using this as a tool, so that's what I like.
We have a big conversation to have.
Thank you.
We have a huge conversation to have about AI tonight. So I'm glad Tilla's here to kind of have another viewpoint, because as you guys know, I really love the fact that we can have these roundtable conversations, and that's what this segment really truly is about. And we're going to get into some crazy conversations tonight, so let's just get into it. Let's get it started.
Into the into the into the
All right, here we go. Drama alert. let's get into it. It's going to be a long drama alert segment tonight, half the show, if not longer. We've got a lot of interesting things have been happening on social media lately, you guys. And if you've been watching this channel, you've seen Bryan Polito on a couple shows around here lately. I was lucky enough to do an industry show with him and Billy Tucci. And during that episode, we got into the conversation about Deadpool and the guy that was trying to say that he created Deadpool before Fabian and Rob did. And, you know, I even asked Billy Tucci, I said, hey, Billy, like, what would you do if somebody came out and said that and they took your, you know, IP, right? Well, guess what? That happened to Bryan Polito in his mind this last week. And Bryan Polito ain't having that shit. And I'm just going to play the video. We're going to start the video off. And I want to get into it. I want to talk a little bit about it. And then we've got a surprise guest coming up later on. So let me get into this. Let me show you guys this.
Good morning.
So this is the video that Bryan put out on his Facebook the other day.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, October 4th. It's the morning. It has come to my attention that a person, business, and or entity has reproduced the character that our company owns, Lady Death, as a comic book cover. Please feast your eyes on this. The entity apparently is Melinda's Comics, and here is an actual printed version of the...
There's the book in black and white. Let me go ahead and show you an image, a better image of the book. Here you guys go. The better image of the book off of her.
My God!
All right, this is the book that she was selling on her Whatnot sales, right?
Damn.
And so you guys see what the book is. This beautiful art right here. Let's get back into Mr. Polito and what he was talking about here.
Hold on, guys. I got to go to the bathroom real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Character we own, Lady Death. This is being sold in Whatnot. And here is the artist, whoever that person is, signing this comic for sale. I have a series of requests. Here's the first request.
So here is where you guys know that Bryan Polito ain't fucking playing around. He ain't fucking playing around. And I'll tell you why Bryan Polito ain't playing around after he lays down the law.
Because he's not smiling, and that motherfucker always smiles.
Object.
Yeah.
Or if you do not buy this object. I have a series of requests. Here's the first request. Do not buy this object. Or if you buy this object, destroy it upon receipt. This is a clear infraction against the trademark owned by Lady Death LLC. Particularly that is a printed comic book, that is a no-no. Let me make something abundantly clear. Coffin Comics does not grant permission to people we do not know to reproduce the character that we have owned for over 30 years for anything.
Okay, so you get the drift, right? You get the drift. Let me tell you why Bryan Polito ain't fucking playing games. Bryan Polito went through hell with Evil Ernie. He went through hell and losing an IP that he created, right? And that he has built this big brand and he lost it. There's no fucking way that he's going to let somebody utilize his brand, right? But here's the thing. What Bryan Polito can do legally, nothing. That I mean, like, legally they can get away with it because of this parody thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, we have this parody law. We have this law with you just can't print the name in the comic book or something. I don't know what it is, but there's a parody law, right? There's this law that is out there that gives these people the ability to do cosplay covers, right? Artists can do 10,000 variants of any character they want and put in the guts just their drawings, right? And sell that. Even if it's a Marvel character, they can do it. Legally, there's nothing you can do. But Bryan, I don't think was was saying that it's not cool. He was saying that it's just not cool. I'm not having it. I'm not gonna let you do this. And he probably put in a couple calls into Melinda and said, hey, you know, if you want, like, this is my baby. I don't want you fucking with my baby anymore. Don't do it. Melinda drops this. Recently, I made a serious legal error. I created and attempted to sell an unauthorized comic portraying Coffin Comics character Lady Death. This action was clear infringement upon the Coffin Comics IP. It was wrong, and I sincerely apologize. Further, I promise to never again use any Coffin comic character in the name of cosplay or tribute. So she's, you know, saying that she's covering herself. And I'm sure this is probably like a copy and paste thing from one lawyer to another, I imagine. But in the name of cosplay or tribute for my own financial gain or any other reason, it shows her destroying the covers. Now, here is all the cover was. The cover is a cosplay parody cover, right?
No,
it's not.
No,
That's Lady Death.
That's not. So this is like, I looked into this for hours today. I'm not even gonna lie. This is
this is what I love. I love these conversations right here.
Way deeper than saying it's a parody and that's it. That's not how that works. They could totally take her to court, and she has to prove that it's a parody. And I mean, what's the definition of a parody? It's something that is making fun of something.
Yeah.
Like how is this making fun of Lady Death?
Yeah.
There's been plenty of lawsuits where people or companies have done stuff like that. Like, I think it was Hard Rock versus Hard Rain. Someone made their company Hard Rain, and the courts ruled that they couldn't do that, even though it was a parody, because what they did was they used a entity that was famously known for their benefit of profit. So, like, there's a lot of things that Bryan could actually do, and like, it's not like the saying it's a parody and excusing it away, that doesn't work, because every situation's different, and the courts could rule any way that they want.
Yeah. So this is another one. This is that Campbell versus a cuff.
Philip, we can't hear you.
Tilla, can't his mic isn't working?
Yeah, I think his mic's off.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
You got me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, you know, there's parodying and there's bootlegging.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, let's, you know,
Yes.
and for our book, even with the parody, I mean, like, I don't know, Vinny knows a little bit more about the legalities of it, but we did include like this little disclaimer at the bottom of the page saying like, this is a parody, like it's all fictitious work and stuff. So I know there's like little things that you can do to kind of tip people off, but yeah.
So
replica that's a bootleg, you know?
I would consider your book a parody, because it is a parody. You should be able to prove without a shadow of a doubt that it's a parody, because there's an actual story inside of that.
Yeah.
You know, making fun of them. Like,
it's not an attempt to pass it off as something it isn't. You look at this and you're like, this is a Lady Death comic. Yeah.
So
that's where the issue lies.
Let's talk about what this is, though, okay? Because what this looks like to me is it looks like either it's Melinda or a model that she uses, and they took a photo of her and then they maybe put that into AI and let AI make her look like Lady Death.
If you look up Lady Death covers, you can actually find her wearing the different pieces of these outfits.
Oh yeah.
On
totally.
her covers.
Totally. Yeah.
I would say looking at it, the hands, those fingers are very well done though. And I mean, I know like the first telltale sign of AI is like, look at the hands and see like, I mean, obviously if there's like 2 or 3 extra fingers, yeah. But like normally there's some type of something going on. It might not be as obvious as an extra pinky, but like these hands are looking accurate enough where
if you zoom in on the hand that's holding that cup, the bottom of that finger isn't
kind of gnarly. Yeah,
it's not colored in. It's cumin colored. It's not blue. The top finger as well, Brian.
Yeah.
On the glass.
But is that because of like some kind of fancy glove with like cut off fingers?
Fancy glove. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like it's kind of like a style. It's a style thing. I'm saying that like this looks like a lot of the AI art that I see coming out of like Mid-Journey and stuff like that, or like Stable Diffusion. But there's nothing obvious on here that's saying like screaming at me AI immediately. It looks like it, but a lot of the AI stuff looks like paint. It's like supposed to look like each other. So
didn't Melinda's Comics do that Harley Quinn cover?
Yeah, that was definitely AI.
So what was that called? What was that? What was the name? Who's the name of the artist?
You can just eBay. If you go on eBay, you can pull up a picture. Just eBay M House Harley Quinn, and it should pop up.
Yeah. Well, I would say that they, as far as like AI art goes and stuff, and what they did here, that they did a nice job cleaning it up, like whatever artifacts and weird things that happens sometimes with AI. Like sometimes like the wooden staff part of like that sickle or whatever, like sometimes that would be a little bit weird, but they've got it like looking kind of nice and how it's positioned and stuff. But so you don't know if this is like confirmed AI or not, but they do have a history of doing AI stuff.
Yeah.
As far as people can guess, because she's never said it, right? She's never come out and
said what? Has she? Well, she did come out. Yeah. So here's another post that she put up. Let me give you guys another post. She goes, recently I had made a parody cosplay cover as I have seen it done before by other people and companies. So I figured it was okay to cosplay cover of such a cool character, Lady Death. Even though it was a small, not mass-produced, and was for fun because other people do it, it does not make it okay. I had no intentions of hurting or putting stress on the creator. After getting in contact with them, I can see Bryan was upset, and I apologize sincerely. Will never do that again to Coffin Comics. It was never my intention to put down, but in fact, though, I was doing the opposite and lifting up as I've seen it done so many times again. So she thought she was paying tribute. She's saying she thought she was paying tribute, but
paying tribute, but to make money.
This is the worst apology in the world.
It makes me laugh that like it never dawned on her, and I've seen this happen. There's been several instances within the comic community, right? Of course, it's not just her, but it makes me laugh when people don't think that people ask for permission first. Like with the Do You Poo books, Murat has gone to great lengths to get permission to do a lot of the covers that he does with the Do You Poo stuff. People just think he just slaps it on everything. No, he reaches out and gets permission. Why do you think he's been able to get... You can take a lot of his Do You Poo covers and get them signed by the original artists. Because he reached out to him respectfully and he's made it happen that way because he's done it the right way. And people see that though, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. These guys can do this. They can do these things, so I should be able to do it too." They can do it because they did it the right way. They asked if it was okay, and that's all it takes. Like, if he had gone to Bryan and said, "Hey, listen, I really want to do a Lady Death cover," he probably would have said, "Okay, if you want to do a variant for Lady Death, here's how you do it," and would have pointed her in the right direction, or said, "No, we don't allow that." But like, she didn't ask, and it's the simplest thing in the world to send off one email and say, "Hey, is it cool if I do something?"
I think just real quick, I think that I think that that's the way to go. How you just said it, like, ask permission. But there's so many cases of that where people didn't do that and it worked out for them. Look at Dapper Dan,
That's true.
Or look at
Two Live Crew, Oh Pretty Woman.
Yeah, or just like, people. What was the other one I was just thinking of that they did? Gucci Ghost. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gucci Ghost. Trouble Andrew. He just did like the kind of spray painted Gucci style with like the little ghost character. That's all bootleg.
I'll say the difference is though is we live in a lot more litigious. How do you say that?
Litigious.
Yeah, litigious society now than we did in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. And I don't think those guys would have gotten away with it if they did that now. I really don't.
Well,
this is sad because the Dapper Dan stuff is amazing. I mean, the new Dapper Dan Pumas are on my like immediate buy list over the next month. I mean, you're not wrong, but I don't think that. I think that's a yesteryear thing.
What about McDonald's and McDowell's?
You have to do things the right way.
Well, this brings up a good question, Hood, because we see this cover. This is a cover that she did earlier that I believe it was Sean at Comics Elite called her out for this for using AI. This is one of those books that Sean put through the AI art things, and so she is using AI. But here's the thing, man. Right now, it's a no-no to use it and not just say that you use it. That's the problem. That there's so many artists that feel like it's taking from them if you're trying to pawn it off as being not AI. So there's a difference. If you say, hey, it's AI assisted, you just get the pass, right? It's obvious. Sometimes you're obvious about it. Tilla's always been obvious about how he uses it and what he uses it for. There's people out there that did the Covenant of Man. Is that what it was called? That first AI comic. Yeah.
And they came out and said this is
Yes.
Is an AI. Yeah, they were very open about what it was and what the project was about.
But this brings up the question, right? Because Bryan was like, Bryan's just not going to let somebody fuck with Lady Death. And if more than anything, this was just Bryan kind of laying down the boss law and being like, just don't fuck with my character. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, he could take her to court.
He could. He definitely could. But could he win? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a question that I cannot answer because I'm not a lawyer.
It would get expensive. But this brings up the question, what about all the other cosplay books, right? There are so many cosplay books out there that are there. You can tell they're a certain character. Like, I remember the last year around this time, there was some person on Whatnot that was selling like a Simpsons book, right? There was a Simpsons book.
Epic. It was Simpsons book on the cover. It was for a Pharaoh's Lounge book.
Yeah, and it was like a nudie book. It was like weird, right? If I remember correctly.
It had a Simpsons and what was it? Was it Transformers? Simpson and Transformers on the cover?
My God. I don't know. That was with that big meltdown.
But like, I wouldn't call that a parody book either. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, people, like, as soon as something like this happens, people just shout parody, and it's not black and white like that. It's not.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing. The whole thing is that I've heard is that you can't like write the name in print. You can't put that this is a Harley Quinn book, right? That type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, because the name itself lends itself to not being a parody at that point.
Yes, but the other thing is that one thing that I will say that Tilla does is he's giving out all these books for the most part, right? I mean, you gave out all the books in San Diego. You're going to be giving out books in New York for free if people find you. I mean, so that's another thing. Anyways, it's just very interesting. AI is going to be a huge question over the next week because of this exact incident. And it's very interesting to see, Melinda just be like, I'm not even fucking with this. Like, I don't want to say good on her, but I also want to say good on her for, being like, yep, this is not a battle that I want to take,
But at the end of the day, it draws attention to her brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though she's conceding the loss.
Well,
like,
even
people are like, man, I wonder what other shit she's got over there, bro.
Yeah. Well, Tilly even said that when we were at the beginning of the show. I mean, some people, what did you say about some people like
thrive off the drama?
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah,
thrive off the drama. And that
I mean, like, look at all those fashion brands that put out like some extremely obviously racist thing on their runway, where you're like, who okayed that? And then you're like, oh, wait a second, they're on every blog the next day.
Yep.
I mean, it's a tactic now, and
but
you know,
is that a Harley Quinn or is that a Margot Robbie swipe? You know what I mean?
Well, even
that's the thing.
Here's the thing, though. Even Margot Robbie's image is copywritten.
Yeah.
Somebody owns
you
her
have
image
to
is licensed.
Well,
that's Margot Robbie. That ain't Harley Quinn. That's Margot Robbie.
But this is an AI. This is an AI created image. But you brought up a good question right there, Hood. There are those books out there that look like Margot Robbie in the face.
Mm-hmm. And she could sue all of them if she
really
wanted
well,
to.
The company who owns her image rights or who she licenses her image rights through could sue. Yeah.
There's that American Psycho comic book that's coming out. And I was talking to the publisher about wanting to do an exclusive for that book, and I wanted to know if I could put holy shit, I just had the biggest brain fart of my life.
I just blame that on fucking cannabis, dude. So.
What is the actor's name? Christian
Bale.
I asked if he could be put on the cover, and they said that they didn't know yet because they were waiting to hear from him because they needed his permission to do his likeness on the covers.
Wow.
So,
Josh, do me a huge favor because it was the one thing that pissed me off about them doing that book. If you do it, you have to do a COA that on one side is his business card and on the other side is the COA number.
Yeah.
You have to. It has
that would
to be
be
done.
Funny. That
it
would
has
be funny.
to be done.
Yeah,
so yeah, even celebrities,
the card, the COA than they would the book. But no, it's all licensed stuff. We've looked into that stuff too. We were looking into that stuff when we were doing exclusives with Whatnot. We had a lineup to be able to do like a Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man and a bunch of other stuff. But the licensing of that, it was happening, but it's a crazy process to make that stuff happen because they handle another company to handle their images and their likenesses and stuff. I mean, they're buyable, they're purchasable. If you want to put RDJ's fucking face on a T-shirt and you got the money, you can do it. You just got to go pay the licensing fee to the right company. You want to put it on a comic, you can too, but then you're paying an artist to do it. So you're paying $1,000 for the artist. And then you're probably paying the licensing company another $10,000 to use his image.
Well, here's the thing.
And then the cost
Here's the thing. Decor, shout out to Decor, who was dropping some Instagram videos about this, letting everybody know about it on Instagram that aren't following it on Facebook. But Decor says if Bryan does end up taking her to court, he's got a 100% slam dunk case because she's admitted it's no longer parody or cosplay by labeling it Lady Death character in his apology. Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
Bryan's not going to take her to court, man. Bryan, you know what Bryan did? Bryan said, if you do these things, I'm going to take down my video. He took down his original video. The only reason I got it is because so many people reposted it, right? Bryan Polito played the boss move. I'm gonna say what I need done. And if it happens, I'm gonna take down this video and it's over. I even reached out to him. I said, hey man, want to come on the show Saturday night and talk about it? He's like, nope, I already got it taken care of. I think. Thanks, man. It's date night with the wife. And he gave me the devil horns, man. You know what I mean?
The big question is will she learn from this, or will she continue to do it with other people's properties until
she'll
those
learn
people...
from it? She'll learn from it, but the question is how much attention did she get from this, and is she going to learn the right lesson, or is she just going to learn a lesson?
Because in her apologies, she said, "I will never do this to Coffin Comics again." She should say, "I'll never do this again." Period.
You know what's very interesting, and this is what I like about what Till is doing with his book is he's actually got. He's got interior stories and art and stuff in there. It's not just an art book or, because what is inside in these books for M House? What is inside these books? Does anybody can anybody tell me? Is there a story in these books? Because if there's not,
I have no idea.
If there's not a story in these books, then is it really parody at this point?
I think it's just
scratch and sniff.
My understanding there's a art book.
It's just an art book at that point.
Yeah.
It's just an art book at that point?
My understanding is they're art books, and that's it.
Some people just want like a quick flip. They just, I don't know. I'm not saying this is the case with her. I don't know anything about her. But some people, and I noticed this when I was doing NFTs, I still am, but when I really got in, there are some people that are just, they see a gold rush and they're like, oh, this is a quick way that I can make money. I'm interested in storytelling and really the art of storytelling, sequential images to tell a story. And there's just there's a difference in motive there, and you know it really quickly when somebody's just got something where they're like, oh, there's this new technology. I'm gonna learn how to make AI girlfriends this weekend because I see that that's gonna be a booming industry, and you know all I got to do is set up these chat bots and da da da. It's crossed in everybody's mind, but you know, is your heart really in that? Or is it just like, are you just looking for a quick make a quick buck, you know? Let me take Maggie Roberts or whatever her name is, put on Harley Quinn's body, print up a whole bunch and, you know, try to sell it off as something, you know? It's,
Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. I'm going to be honest here. And this is what everybody's thinking, okay? Melinda won the simp lottery, right? All she has to do now is this, and she's got a bunch of comic nerds, because she's a hot chick, that she's got a bunch of comic nerds that are going to go crazy to buy her books, right? They're going to go crazy to shell out money for her, and she's just making her money, right? Is that the case? Is that the case too?
Listen,
you know what, Brian?
I'm not going to hate on the game. I would do the same thing.
Hey, you know what Andrew Dice Clay said a long time ago? He said, if I was a chick, I'd suck dick till I had a mansion. You know what I'm saying?
I
think we just hit the yellow money symbol on this show for sure now.
This is the first time I'm seeing any of her stuff or what she's about or anything. I applaud any woman who's in this space and making some money and anybody who's willing to learn. You know, if she learned and then she put up that thing.
I'm willing to learn.
Amen. Amen.
I think as a retailer, all retailers know this. You know your customer base.
Yeah.
Like Hive knows if we put out a book, we know we can guarantee straight out the gate we've got this many loyal customers. I think her, Marat, who's Kyle Willis. I think those guys know their market. They know. She knows if she does a 50 or 100% run, whatever her market pull is on her customers, she knows if she does 100 of something and it's a little bit different, they're gone.
Yeah.
Kyle knows if he does 50 of something and it's a little bit different, it's gone. Marat knows if he does 50 or 75 of something, it's gone. And for those guys that have built that properly, kudos to them. Yeah. It's the same as any of us other retailers that have built a solid customer base.
Well,
but selling the same shit over and over again and just putting new lipstick on it, to me, does not make you a retailer. It makes you somebody who's preying on your customer base.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is also you guys do your stuff the right way instead of just stealing people's IPs like Mario or whatever and just putting it on a book and saying it's a parody, so it's okay.
Can we go back to that picture where she's dressed up like Luigi real quick, bro?
No, we got it.
Damn it! But then
hold
wasn't
on.
quick enough for the screenshot.
We got a special guest, ladies and gentlemen.
Melinda,
I got to go grab another beer for this. I'll be right back.
Oh my God! No. But it is the comics with respect, the comics loudmouth from Michigan.
Mama! Oh hell!
Mama! Dennis, what do you think about this whole thing?
So, you mean the Lady Death thing?
Yeah.
I've been like on this shit for 10 years since Zenoscope started the cosplay variants. You know, they started this whole thing like, oh, I'm going to dress up our sexy Grim Fairy Tale girl as Boba Fett and call it a cosplay variant. And, actually, can I just honestly, once again, take credit where credit is due, which is me. If you Google cosplay variant 2010, I invented the cosplay variant with my buddy Francesco, the artist. he did a thank you variant for my convention, Detroit Fanfare in 2010. And we had all of these props that were clearly other characters, you know, Wolverine's claws, Captain America's shield, and all of this, and a cosplayer going through, and it was as if all the cosplayers had turned into zombies and this person was slaying it. It was I think it was for Monster Hunter Survivor Guide. But I invented the cosplay variant. But I didn't just have them put somebody in a costume and try to steal Marvel or DC's IP.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and then it just went complete. And then Zenescope, a year or two later, goes completely haywire with, oh yeah, I know this looks like Mary Jane Watson, but it's a cosplay variant.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just a natural progression where this talentless twat is literally just going to it's a cosplay variant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my take on it.
Yeah. Well, listen, hey, Tilla, anytime you got to bounce, just throw up the deuces, bro. Hang out as long as you want. You know that.
No, I'm hanging. I'm chilling out.
Tilla, is this the first time we've met?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Good to meet you. Did I hear Detroit?
Yes, sir.
I'm Cleveland. So we're
Howard the Duck. I'm very close to you.
Yes, sir. Howard the Duck. Oh, really? Wait. Who said that?
I'm in Fairport Harbor, so we're like 40 minutes apart.
I used to live in Fairport. Dude, do you know where the Finnish Heritage Museum is?
Yeah.
My dad is the president.
I live on the street that museum's on.
I used to live on there, right by the lighthouse.
Oh no shit! Wow, small world.
My dad grew up in Fairport, so we're like, my family is like really tight in there.
Making connections all the time, ladies and gentlemen, on this show.
That's nuts.
It's all practically related, bro.
Yeah.
If you live in Fairport, it is. Yeah, there's a good chance because
it's
small,
tiny. It's tiny.
Yeah. But that's awesome to know that Midwest comics are. I didn't know anybody that was like really into comics when I was like growing up or nothing. And it's just nice now to, as I've entered this space and I'm creating and stuff, like just meeting all these cool people, and come to find out I got some literally in my backyard in Fairport. So it's just, the internet's a beautiful thing. Technology brings us together in this way,
I suggest I serious you guys, make it a point to meet up with Tilla in NYCC, and it'll be worth your while. He's a good dude.
It was one of the highlights of San Diego was definitely hanging out with Tilla and having the conversation we had next to the water and really getting to connect. And well, I mean, other than me and Dennis playing pool together.
I got pictures. I got pictures of Dennis and James.
That was some awesome shit.
Yeah.
Right there,
So, all right. So this is what I want to talk about with Dennis and James and everybody here, Tilla, Hood, Josh. NYCC is coming up, and I think we all knew that NYCC was going to be variant heavy. I mean, beyond variant heavy, right? But
it was variant heavy last year. We were having this same conversation last year.
Yeah.
With the Miles Morales, wasn't there like something like 50 different Miles Morales variants?
Yeah, man. But there is so many books. There is like 50 foil variants alone. There's probably like 30 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle variants.
25 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle exclusives.
Can I real quickly before this conversation gets too hot and heavy here? I'm the type of guy that likes to go to a restaurant and have many options. I don't like them to all be. I don't like 80 of the 120 options on the menu to just be hamburgers. And I feel like that might be the problem with New York.
Can I retort on that one, James?
You love hamburgers. I mean, that's
no.
fine.
Actually, it's the opposite. One of my favorite guys is John Tapper from Bar Rescue. And the first thing he does when he walks into a bar is like, why do you have 200 items on your menu?
Yeah.
You need to curate this menu down to 20 key things, or sometimes it's 5.
Yeah.
Depending on what their skill level is. And same thing with Gordon Ramsay. He'll sit down at a restaurant and it's like, why do you have this many things? And The problem is the industry needs to curate this. The retailers are going to keep asking. They all want to take a shot at being me and James, or me back in the day, or James, or whoever is successful now. I don't pay attention to it anymore. Sorry.
We're still doing all right.
So, but they all want to take a stab at kind of the industry we kind of helped foster. And we didn't overdo anything. I kind of considered myself a game warden of my customers. But when you see, and I'm gonna call it out here, and I know that's why you had me on anyway. Comic Tom's fucking video with his Archie variants, and he's got 20 different variants with a wood burned.
That's a mellow fellow thing.
1 of 1 and a fucking gunmetal and a rusted. Fucking
Welcome to the mellow fellow
version.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, mellow fellow.
Yeah, and I'm
started
just
all
like,
that.
dude, you're Comic Tom. Just make a fucking Archie variant. Don't get into the weeds on this bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that though. It's look at how many of these retailers are coming in with 30 variants for this con. And I know how they're doing it. And let me give you a little inside scoop here. If you guys, I'm sure everybody who's on this panel can read between the lines. I'm sure most people that are watching can as well. But throughout the entirety of this year, these retailers have been putting out variants, Marvel, DC, whatever. And they've been releasing 2 of the 3 covers. And they've been holding one back, holding one back. And so you got San Diego. We got to see a little bit of it, right? Look at.
Man, the motherfucker's eyes are big, dude.
It's all that foil, bro.
But the thing is they've been holding him back. Well, guess what? This is the last big convention of the year. So all the shit's coming out, all of it. So everything that they did 3 covers for and they held one back for, bro. Look at the list some of these retailers have, and it's 25. I thought we had a lot. We've got like 3, and I thought that was too much. And we're looking at booths that have 20 variants, 25 variants.
It's not the problem anymore.
Yeah, the problem is that everybody's smelling each other's farts at this point. Like, there's very few people that aren't either doing foil or being told they have to do foil, right? Not everybody wants to necessarily do a foil book. They just kind of have to do the foil. But also, guess what? It's what's selling, right? It's what's selling.
But Brian, and I'm not dogging you on this.
No, I want all different.
The reason I made my post, which put me on the spotlight tonight, was because I watched your show with Big Clutch, and Big Clutch was even going to the fact that, like, hey, if you want these variants to show up good, you've got to upgrade it to the card stock. Even that is a level of like, dude, publishers, you can't make a good variant unless you upgrade it.
Well,
I guarantee you that's the same thing happened with these foils. They're like, well, I mean, you could have a cover stock variant, but wouldn't you much rather have a foil for an extra $3 for us having a $1 cost increase? Oh, yeah, I guess I do. Or whatever the cost is.
It's part of it is that
coming from the publishers, and that's why, I'll quote Sam Jackson. Yeah, I hope they die, and I hope they burn in hell.
So part of it is that, and Dennis isn't wrong, but we had a conversation. This was, and Ant might be a little mad at me because I'm spilling some tea here, but it was like a year and a half ago when we first started working a lot more with Ant, and he goes, dude, like these image damages are fucking killing us, and blah blah blah. And we moved to cardstock with Image 3 years, like almost out the gate, because we saw how horrible their color rub. It wasn't spine creases, it was color rub. And so we went to cardstock. We were one of the only people through Image. We still one of the only people through Image that do cardstock covers standard on all of them. We pay extra for it. The second we told that to Ant, he hit us up after his next book came in. He goes, dude, fucking game changer. He goes, I went from having 300 damages to having sub 330. And we're like, yeah. And he goes, and he's like, but why? We're like, why do we have to do this? And he's not wrong on that question.
Yeah.
If the standard is, and here's the thing though, publishers aren't selling collectibles. We're selling collectibles. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We give a shit.
The publishers have always been selling collectibles. Thundercats #1, first item collector's issue.
Yeah.
He-Man #1.
But I bet all those were curated, nice cover. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of those were though done in cardstock. A lot of the ones
but they've always been pushing the #1. There's that classic Neil Adams Superman cover. I think it's 232. where it says first exciting issue.
Yeah, collector's issue.
Whatever, And it's like, it's 232. What are you talking about, DC? And that was in the 70s.
Well, here's the thing. So NYCC, we knew that the variants were going to be crazy. We didn't think they were going to be this crazy. I mean, on top of all, I mean, there must have been 50 foil variants that are by all these people. On top of that, there are people that are calling all these NYCC exclusives, and they're selling them. They're live a week,
a month
2
ahead.
weeks, a month ahead. What is going on here? That feels so cheesy to me. Don't call it an NYCC if exclusive. If you can get it anywhere else. Yeah. Don't do that.
Well, no, that's the game. Hold on. I gotta
I'm sorry, man.
I gotta defend them a little bit.
Nah.
If you have, and James, please back me up if you agree with this, please.
Yeah.
If you have a core online audience of 1,000 customers that buy 500 books every time you drop, you're going to tell your core online customers, hey guys, I know you have every Wonderworld variant, but you're not going to get this one because this is only available at Star Wars Celebration in Europe, and you're going to have to fly to England if you want this. I call bullshit on that. So I always take a.
Why can't you make them available? Why can't you make a small portion available online to those people on the day of the con?
Because I'm at the con, and it's so hard to coordinate some of those drops too, though. But I always drop it and say, look, yours is going to ship out after the con. Nobody's going to get a jump on it, so we always ship out after the con. But I want to make sure that those customers that have been with me for now, I think 7 years on like the JTC variants, I'm not going to have them miss out on one for their collection because it's sold out at a convention. You got to take care of those core customers. Now, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's exactly what these other clowns are doing now. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, I always take a small chunk of what we are going to do. And just like I wanted to reward the customers on what's Mel's show?
Drunken Chat.
Drunken Chat. I wanted to hook up the Drunken Chat folks on that, the
Conan
the
book.
The
Djurjevic Miles Virgin.
Yep. So I took a couple hundred out of the run and said it's only available for you guys tonight at this price, and when they're gone, they're gone.
That's cool.
And so I don't have a problem when you hook up your core audience. It's when you send them out so people can say in hand 2 weeks before it comes out, pay 15 times cover on eBay. I think that's clown school.
That's more messed up for your customer base. And I'll play the middle ground here because I'll tell you what we're doing. It's something that we have done in the past, and it's what we're doing this time. We are allowing a small amount of our customers to have access to one or two of our exclusives. Okay? We're allowing them early access by 15 to 30 minutes. And these are the customers that are active on our Facebook, active on our we have a phone, like a VIP text list. These are customers that have bought from us 10, 15, 20, some of them 100 plus times. We're allowing 50 copies of our exclusive out to those dudes, and we're allowing them early access. We're putting 50 up because the logistics behind just like emailing individual customers and saying, hey, we want to make sure you get taken care of. We want to make sure it's a nightmare. But what you can do, and what we're doing, and what I think Bird City is going to do the same thing, is we're going to be like, listen, here's our core group. It's like 40 to 50 core, hardcore customers. You've got 30 minutes to buy these. There's probably going to be 5 or 10 left over.
Legacy
at the end
customers, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Those will go out. If somebody's quick enough, they'll grab the last 10 copies or whatever, and then the rest are at New York. And if you don't get them from us at New York, you don't get them during our eBay lives, then you're going to have to wait till after New York. And if we have any left, we'll make them available to you. But Dennis isn't wrong. If it wasn't for our core customer base, we wouldn't be going to New York. So you got to, in a way, take care of them. But you can't take care of them in a way that detracts from the people. You can't take care of them in a way that detracts from the people that spent $1,000 to go to travel to go to the convention and hotels are thousands of dollars. You can't do it in a way that when people show up on Thursday that the books, you've got 20 copies sitting behind the table because you pre-sold 480 of them or whatever on your website. You can't do that. We saw that happen in San Diego, and it fucking people were up in arms.
I want to talk about San Diego. San Diego was great this year. It was fucking excellent. It was very well. Both Whatnot was toned down. Whatnot toned themselves down. It felt like they were like, hey, we need to be more professional at this con. I'm not saying this happened. This is just what it felt like to me. Okay, personally, they said, hey, we need to be professional at this. No fucking getting crazy. No doing stupid little slick things. This and that. I mean, there was probably a few things here and there that you might have heard of, but on a small level. And they kind of, the con was great. eBay Live was there. eBay Live was doing their first thing. They were dipping their toe into it, and they did well, right? So you thought like it was going to be good, and you've got little birds telling you this, and I'm hearing, man, eBay might be pulling out some of the stops, might be doing some big things at NYCC. We're not hearing anything about Whatnot. Nothing. I mean, it is dead silent, right?
I had the biggest announcement for Whatnot this week.
I got an email from him. I could tell you all about what it said.
The funny thing is, like in New York, Brian, with all these foil covers, like if I was in that space, I would be thinking, like, what's going to be different with my foil, and how am I going to differentiate myself from because at the end of the day, let's just say all the books are foiled. How are you going to separate yourself? Like, because I'm a competitive person, like, what's going to be different with my foil other than the cover, right? So, something that's why I like Tilla's idea of doing something so cutting edge and is so different from what anybody else is doing. Like, that's where people, that's what New York Comic Con is supposed to be. Show us something revolutionary. Show us where this hobby can go, and use this platform for new ideas instead of cookie cuttering the whole goddamn thing. You know what I mean? Like, be innovative.
I do want to bring one thing up, and thank you for mentioning that. I'll give you guys a little hot tip on one of my things in my process. I grew up, Josh, you might be aware of Jack Prince, based out of Cleveland. It's a printing company. Are you familiar with Jack Prince?
Yeah.
My friend is the CEO of that company. It's one of the biggest printing companies in the country. Like, they were one of the early investors or sponsors in South by Southwest, and they just grew the company to be one of the biggest printing companies in the world. Happens to be a very good friend of mine going back to my teenage years. He was a rapper and I was a producer. Anyway, he got into the printing business. Now he owns this amazing printing company. So I hit him up and I'm like, dude, how do we use your print technology to make fine art, to make the best art anybody has ever seen? Because you have access to printing technology that the average person doesn't. And I know people are just hitting him up all the time to like get screen printed T-shirts, or, there'll be a lot of cool things that he'll work with record labels on, where they might take blood from a heavy metal band and infuse it into the paint for the vinyl. Yeah. They do all that stuff. So I'm like, dude, you've heard it all. You've heard the craziest stuff. Let's make something that is better than a product. Let's make a piece of art that it utilizes technology that's never been available before to make something that people have never really seen. Like, if you guys, the first thing that came to his mind was the Tool album cover from back in the day. If you guys remember, they had kind of like a transparent cover, and you could see to the different levels, stuff like that. Like, how can we do that? So that is one thing that I do when approaching like the creation of our books, is I'll actually contact the print company and be like, what's the piece of technology there that nobody uses that you think is underused?
Television.
What's up?
One word for you. Acetate.
Yeah. Well, speaking of this, thinking outside of the box is the thing that I think is interesting. And I know I said that there is like so many damn variants that are going to be at this event. One of the crazy amount of variants is the Ninja Turtle variants, and you see everything. Everything is foil this, foil that, foil this, foil that. Well, I seen this from Illus Illuminati. Shout out to Javin Jordan, good dude.
I just removed my. I just had to go into YouTube and remove my content because I spilled something that I didn't mean to spill.
Good.
In the chat there, I was like, wait a minute, I'm holding that in back pocket.
So at least I think this is cool. He thought of different like sketch covers to do for the Turtles books for some variants, and I'm with this. Like, this is cool. Different, an ooze sketch cover, a pizza box, the turtle shell. He's got the little fourth. You can take that to 4 different artists. Like, this is thinking outside the box in a different way to me. When everybody else is thinking foil this, foil that, foil this.
Let me stroke Javon here for a second, though. This man has clawed himself up from nothing to what he's become in 2 fucking years. He's
Look at his
earned
art.
This.
Look at his art over the last 2 years. Look at the improvements in his
Comics.
art.
What has she earned? Nothing.
Well,
and that's where the industry has to support somebody like Javon over this, that, or the other thing.
Shout out to BB66. He says, what was the very first foil cover comic book ever made? That's a great question. Let's figure that out. Leave a comment below. Tell us if you guys know it.
Death number 1.
Might be. That might be the first Chromium. Who knows? But the thing is that think outside the box, right? And we're wondering. We're hearing that eBay is gonna. We heard from Big Clutch that eBay is gonna be have a big huge main stage, and Clutch is gonna be bringing in all these sellers and these Capullo, like. These great artists, and don't get me wrong, anybody can get any artist at this point, right? You know what I mean? Like, if Whatnot wanted to go and get an artist, they could go and get an artist. But Capullo is a guy that you don't usually hear doing much of these type of things, which is very cool.
Further. You can't buy Capullo.
No.
Capullo's got to want to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and he's wanting to do it with Big Clutch.
Yeah, so we're hearing that. We're hearing all these other artists. He talked about, bringing on Hive and bringing on Drew and Maria Wolf and all these other great, things. And you're hearing about it, and we're hearing nothing about Whatnot. Like, what is Whatnot planning to do? What is Whatnot planning to do?
I wrote the story on my page from Bolo. He's the one that I kind of forced his hand in making any announcement.
Well,
it's kind of they're going to be on a Marvel thing or something.
It's kind of a sad announcement, and I'll be honest. And this is what we saw. This is why I'm bringing in Dennis, right? Dennis, we want it from the horse's mouth, right? We see this post. I see this. Dennis says, "Did it only take 1 year for those guys to become irrelevant at NYCC? Should have gotten me my fucking Wi-Fi. Bye, Felicia." And that's just Dennis. That's Dennis being Dennis. Whatever it is, what it is. But here's the thing that blew me away. Jack responded to it. Jack, what are you? Yeah, what are you doing? Even responding, brother? Why even?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
not very professional from a company standpoint, but whatever.
And what he says is, "See you on the Marvel main stage at NYCC." Marvel plus Marvel and Whatnot, the greatest first appearance ever coming to NY. That's kind of like, when you read in between the lines, that's Jack going, "I'll be on the main stage with Marvel, Dennis. I'll be looking for you." That's him. Yeah. That's him throwing a little shade at Dennis. Whatever.
But I know Marvel's main stage. He's going to have an hour, a couple times a day, maybe at most, to do some Whatnot stuff. They're not going to let Whatnot set the whole Whatnot stage up on the Marvel booth. That Marvel booth is planned to a T. They had to have done something like buy a huge number of variants or something to be able to negotiate that.
Well, did you see the how it was set up at San Diego though?
Which ones? Marvel or Whatnot?
Whatnot.
You talking about San Diego 2 years ago?
No, I don't think. I think it was last year.
Last year was that house.
Outside.
Yeah, they didn't even have a thing inside San Diego.
No, I meant the Marvel shit because they had shit set up at the Marvel shit.
Oh.
There was the Marvel main stage, and then there was like a ice cream seller's booth. It was like a little, like a 6 foot by 4 foot
to the side
thing off to the side.
Yeah,
and that was Whatnot. And Jack did like a stage thing there, and that's cool, and that was great. I'm sure that was great for the platform, and it was awesome for Jack. I know he had a blast doing that. But I don't like. He might be overplaying it.
Yeah, why is he even saying anything? Why even get into a conversation with you about this at this point?
Here's the thing.
And yet still not apologize for fucking me in New York last year.
Well, I don't. That's not for me to say, but
happy.
Yeah, that's not for me to say. One thing is for me to say is it just doesn't look good for for Jack to even respond, acknowledge this, and then to like kind of try and put a thorn in, like a thing in your back. But anyways, the interesting thing that Jack says is in this take, this back and forth with you, Dennis, is the fact that he's bringing the biggest book, to the stage, that Rob Liefeld variant. But Rob Liefeld's contracted through Whatnot. Like, I expect Rob Liefeld to be on a stage with Whatnot at NYCC. I expect that. I didn't expect Capullo being on the stage with anybody. I expected Rob Liefeld being on the stage with Whatnot, and we already know about that cover that he's doing. We knew about that 2 weeks ago. Like, that's nothing out of this world to be bragging about at this point.
And if anything, it's like re-releasing Morbius at the theaters to cash in on that meme status. I mean,
Morbin
really
time.
Is it going to sell because it's a great cover? No, it's going to sell because it mocks on his previous work that everybody's been laughing at for 30 years.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm a Rob Liefeld fan. I want anything out of Rob Liefeld we can get. If that includes Bolo, I'll take it.
He thinks he draws better than Jim Lee.
Hey, man, I want more Rob Liefeld. We need a Rob Liefeld reality show ASAP.
No,
and
I would watch followed that man around.
I love Rob so much, and it gets. I spell it out in this debate with Bolo. They begged me to take them over to meet Rob. I'm like, yeah, you guys want to go meet Rob? Yeah, no, Rob's cool. I'll just take you up to the back end and I'll introduce you. And I'm the one that Rob didn't even know what a Whatnot was. And I'm the one that sold Bolo to Rob.
Yeah.
And the whole time we're walking over there and the whole time we're walking back, it's all like, oh, Dennis, man, if we get Rob Liefeld because of you, we're going to take care of you. You're going to be, oh, man, this would be the biggest thing that ever happened to us. And it was. And then you know what happened to me throughout the whole year. James, you saw it firsthand. We had the big argument with Ninth Wonder on me getting my variant stolen.
I was right there for a lot of everything that Dennis talks about. Any bad experience that Dennis has had with Whatnot, I was fortunate enough to basically be firsthand for, and got to see all the ways it was handled.
And I mean,
like Dennis
honestly,
wasn't
James,
shit, and it didn't matter to them, and Dennis wasn't important, and it was.
If you know Dennis, I ain't gonna put up with that ever.
Well, and I watched that stuff because here's the thing, and I can say this, and I regret it now. But that year at New York, and there's been several other instances where I got to watch Dennis be treated a certain way, where Hive was held on a pedestal, because we were on a pedestal for a little while. And for fear of being kicked off that pedestal, we didn't do what was right, which was speak up for Dennis. And I still regret that to this day, because it was the wrong fucking move.
I've never held that against you, James.
And at the end of the day, look at where we're at. Me and Dennis are sitting in the same room bitching about the same shit with the same company.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't treat. And then I want to talk. I really, when we're in drama mode, I really want to talk about this, because we're knee deep in drama right now. Whatnot is a pyramid scheme. And I think if you boil this thing down, it probably wouldn't pass corporate muster with the FCC or FTC.
I think they're going to have a hard time going public.
Right, but here's the thing. So Whatnot is set up. You got the Chancellor, and I don't even know all the tiers.
Whatnot Comics, right? The Comics division.
Whatnot Comics.
No.
That's a part of the
corporation
over here. And then there's Whatnot Toys and Whatnot Cards and Whatnot. And then guess what? Everybody has a manager that's below here, and everybody plugs a spot into that lower tier, and then everybody grabs their favorite person and puts them in that tier below them.
Yep.
And then if you don't perform, guess what? You get dropped down a tier, and then they put somebody else up a tier.
Yeah. Well, they piss somebody off. Somebody drops away. They piss somebody off. They drop away. They bring in the new click buddy.
And it's
I thought
literally a pyramid scheme.
I thought it was funny because
at the middle management who have screwed up constantly. I mean, there have been so many screw ups. There's no reason Bolo should still be at the position he's at.
Yeah.
But he's still there because he's a high level on the pyramid.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he got promoted.
Yeah, he keeps getting promoted.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I'll say about Jack. Listen, in the beginning, Jack was very transparent. He was very he would come on the shows. He would talk about stuff, this and that. And that kind of ended. I imagine he probably somebody made him realize that it probably looked better if he just didn't do that. And he kind of stopped doing that. He stopped being
around
really
New York last year.
Yeah, you better not go on a podcast because they're going to catch you lying.
Yeah. Well,
okay, I won't go on.
My biggest issue, man, is Jack. Me and him connected. This before Whatnot. We connected on over speculation and stuff like that. I told him I admired the days when he used to be heavier on YouTube and his speculation. I just reached out to him and was like, dude, I fucking love your take on stuff. And then I was on Bryan's show, and I'd sent some hot take on some spec stuff. And he wrote me back and he goes, dude, we're definitely the way we look at speculation is very in sync. I like your takes on certain things, though. We should talk more. I think that's really awesome. And then he invited us out to New York to talk to Whatnot early days. And we got on there. Things were great. He helped us get on board, hooked us up with a ton of books, and made a lot of money at New York, paid for the trip and then some. And we got rocking and rolling. And the whole time, me and Jack were fostering this friendship that was building. And we'd get together at cons, we'd hang out, have a blast, and this and that. And then out of nowhere, it was some bright new shiny toy, some new thing to see or look at came across. And it was not only could I not reach him as my direct contact to Whatnot, but I couldn't reach him as a friend.
Yeah.
It got so bad that the only way I could get Jack to text me back was to hop on Bryan's show and talk shit so that he would text me. I mean, it got so bad that it's the only way I could get anybody to fucking contact me was that. And it was the same with Chancellor, and it was the same with fucking Adam, and it's with all these guys. And it's just, dude, these guys, I don't know what it is about that company. I don't know what it is about the people they're surrounding themselves with. But every alliance and allegiance they have had throughout the years gets flushed down the toilet for some fucking reason when they don't realize that those alliances, the years Jack spent in comics, was the strongest thing he had to give to Whatnot.
Yeah.
It was the biggest tool that he had to give to Whatnot was his connections.
Well, here's my question. What does Whatnot do at NYCC to help build their or to help change what we think about them? Because
Bryan, they're not going to be in the building, brother.
Really?
They're not in the building.
Well, I think Jack is saying that he's going to be on the main stage with Marvel again. So
that's it. That's it. They're not doing any lives. Their email that went out to sellers is, we will not have a live stage for live sales. However, if you want to do a live sale from outside of the convention center, we will make sure that it's promoted and pushed forward.
So I was right. My post is absolutely right. In 1 year, they are completely irrelevant because eBay is going to eat their lunch 4 straight days in a row from the floor of the New York Comic Con.
I wouldn't be surprised if eBay went to New York and said, give us Whatnot's old booth space. I wouldn't be surprised if when we go there on Thursday to live sale, that we're in the same exact spot I was at last year with Whatnot.
They're up by Funko.
Oh, yeah, they are by Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I know is Jack owes me a couple of comic books, and I ain't going to forget that.
We know.
You know what I mean?
We won't let you forget that.
They weren't cheap comic books. They were going for $1,500. One time, so in my mind, he owes me like $3,000.
Hey, Dennis, what is this story about San Diego and this toy guy?
Okay, so you have to go back to, I think it was 2020.
Seems like you guys don't care about that.
21.
We always care about it.
So
but if I had those
2021,
books, I'd give them to you, brother. You know,
everybody's like, Dennis, you got to
Not the
go
same.
do whatnot. You got to go do whatnot. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll give this a shot. You know me, I'm a attention whore, and I like money. So I start doing whatnot, and I do it differently. I have so much shit. I don't care what it goes for. I just, let it fly. I have 100 of these. Everybody can have one of these on this show. Whatever. I was going to miss one of my slots because I was coming back from Half Price Crook's house. So I pulled over and said, hey, kids, we're going to do this from an Outback Steakhouse.
I remember that. That was funny,
I did an Outback Steakhouse feed. Nobody was doing shit like that on Whatnot. So they're like, Dennis, we totally want you to come to C2E2. And I think it was like November of 2021. It was like the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, come on.
That was Acetate Con, right?
Which one?
Was that the Acetate one?
No, this is way before that. This is
The year before?
This is when I had Javon Jordan from my booth live.
Okay, yeah.
So this is before Acetate. This is the year before Acetate, but it was
Gotcha.
only like 6 months. So yada yada yada. I'm at their booth. Now, meanwhile, my kids are like, what are they doing, Dad? And I'm like, they're giving me a whole bunch of comic books so that I can, broadcast live from their booth. And I'm kind of like one of the trained monkeys, kind of just performing at their booth. And I'm doing the whole fucking Dennis thing, man. And I met Ninth Wonder there. I met Jen there from the Comics Girls group. And I met a lot of people. We had fun. But I'm Dennis. I'm like, oh my God, it's going for, we were breaking records. I had so many people on there watching me. Meanwhile, they got a Funko guy behind me who's just like, hey, everybody, here's a Funko Pop. You should bid on this one. And they had MetaZoo. That was back when they had their deal with MetaZoo, which, by the way, bolted from them, probably because they were assholes to MetaZoo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of these things, you just have to take in a preponderance of the evidence.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, Javon, you want to come over and do part of my live feed? He goes, yeah, I'll launch a couple of my books there. I got some of my comps back. And dude, we blew it off the chain. We had like $1,500 in like 15 minutes. And he's like, holy shit, Dennis. I'm like, God, I'll introduce you to him. You can do that shit yourself, bro. And guess what? Boom, he's huge. And then later that was when I took him back to, was that Liefeld? The time I introduced him to Liefeld, or was that the next one? I think it was the next one I introduced him to Liefeld. Whatever year Liefeld was there, I can't remember. And so they're like, "Oh, Dennis, you got to do toys with us. We're trying to get."
I remember that. I remember they were really pushing their toy division. They had a new girl managing it that was supposed to contact.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she didn't. And I don't care. She's a sweet girl. I'm sure she's a polite human being.
Super nice.
Super nice, but
we talked to her once in the last 9 months.
She didn't have the knowledge of toys to be in charge of collectible toys at Whatnot. She just didn't. So I'm like, look, she's trying to get me under her on the pyramid. And meanwhile, I'm over at Comic Books making a killing, and then I come over and do toys, and I'm like selling $20 turtles for like $10. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me, And then I put $100 rare action figure up, and I couldn't even get people to bid $50 on it. And I'm like, look, I got people I can put you in touch with. And I gave her 3 or 4 names. And we were doing back and forth. And I'm like, hey, are you interested in this? And I'm like, hey, I'm doing this over in comics, but they're trying to build this toy thing. And I'm talking to some of my friends that I've known for 20, 25 years. And I'm like, I'm vouching for them. I'm like Al Pacino and Donnie Brasco. I'm telling my friends of 20 years, Whatnot's with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't end too well for Al Pacino. And so one of my friends is like, hey, I know exactly what you're looking for. I'm not going to give you his name because he doesn't want to be out there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Let me just tell you. It's the guy I can pick up the phone and say, hey, I need 2 badges to San Diego, and they're in my pocket. in an hour.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a guy. It's my guy.
Yeah.
And so I go, hey, these guys are trying. They really need somebody to kind of organize this shit for them because this girl doesn't know anything. And you need to like push to get a higher position at this company because you are exactly what they need. And I want Whatnot to succeed so that I succeed more. You know, I'm a rising tide lifts all boat kind of guy. I am. Yeah. Even though everybody thinks I shit on everything, I want everything to be better. That's why I bitch about it. So my guy gets in there, and this is him telling me after the fact. He didn't tell me while this shit was going on. He told me after the fact. When I left Whatnot, he was like, dude, I got to tell you what happened with me. So he goes, look, I get in there, I give him this name and this name and this name. And then I was like, and you know what? Your booth kind of sucks. You need to call these guys over here at this professional event service place and talk to them and sink some money into
He's dropping knowledge.
Right. And this guy knows. He's like, hey, just call Bob over at this company. I'll tell him to hook you up. And they designed the entire Whatnot fucking pinball game booth that I still think is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? Then they're shut out of San Diego. And my guy is like, you know what? Hey, I know Marvel is going to cancel at San Diego. Let me make a call and see if you guys could take over Marvel's booth at San Diego.
The year after the con. Yeah. Not last year, the year before. Yeah. Not last year, but the year before.
22. Okay. So literally, all of a sudden, Marvel isn't going to make it, probably because of COVID, and they didn't want anybody to get sick, and everybody did get sick at there. And
I am too. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. So literally, Whatnot is sitting at the best spot in all of San Diego because of my guy and because of me. And I've just introduced him to Rob Liefeld, who they eventually convinced to join. And then I go, what was the next show after San Diego in 2022? It wasn't Texas. Texas was before.
Baltimore?
It wasn't Dallas? I thought Dallas was after San Diego.
I thought Dallas was in June and San Diego's
Megacon. Yeah, you might be right.
But whatever it was, it was C2E2 because that was C2E2 was after San Diego that year.
Yeah.
Because it was the weird schedule still.
Yeah,
that's when I took them over to meet Liefeld. So I just got them Marvel's booth at San Diego through my friend. My friend got it for him. I'm not taking any credit for that. I introduced them to Liefeld, and I show up to San Diego or to C2E2, and they've got me on it Sunday at 12 o'clock. And I'm like, guys, I talked to you at Texas and said I'm not fucking around with one shift on my home show. This is Chicago. I did 4 shifts for you last C2E2, and you got me on one shift at Sunday at 12. And then I do the Sunday at 12, and it's a ghost town. And I literally, and I don't know if you were there for this, James, I pulled Bolo off to the side, and Bolo's ignoring me. He's pretending to be, and Tony in Sopranos when the guy's like, hey, Tony, I got to go see John. I got to, and Tony Soprano's like chasing after him and runs him into the back of a car. That's me just to get Bolo for 5 minutes to tell him, you're not going to treat me like this. I got too much fucking bullshit to deal with you treating me like this. You better make good at New York. I want a minimum of 2 shifts. I want to be treated equal to every other presenter, meaning my variants better be the same as Comic Tom's. I read them the Riot Act. We were right behind the curtain.
And you know what they did? They didn't get you any fucking Wi-Fi, man.
Well, exactly. And then I show up to New York. I got 1 fucking shift. It's the first shift of the fucking show. And they don't have me any fucking Wi-Fi.
And this is why I just sold books on there and didn't fuck around with any of those people.
Yeah. What happened to the days when Mel was in a fucking wrestling rink? Fucking...
And that same New York, Mel was shit on. He was doing his shit out of fucking International's booth.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys right now, what happens at NYCC this year? Is it a fucking bloodbath? Is it blood on the fucking con floor?
If Frankie's is going to be there, yes.
Oh!
Because they're still on the website. They're still on the website that they're going to have a booth there.
Frankie's has been... Listen, Frankie's was supposed to be at... what show did we go to? Not Boston.
Dallas. Austin.
Baltimore last year. They didn't show up. Dallas, they didn't show up.
They're like Black Flag Comics.
San Diego, I don't know if they showed up or not. New York, maybe. But okay, so here's my prediction. There are so many exclusives. Okay, so there's two ways to look at this, and this is like tying back to an hour ago, right? But if everybody does foils, then the bright side to this is that only the people that used really good artists and really did good variants are going to sell well.
Yes.
Okay. Which is a positive. I feel bad for people that are doing logo covers for New York. I don't think they're going to do well.
We have 44 of them.
I don't think they're going to do well.
I made that post, and we have 44 of those stupid things.
This is so
I think
funny,
the
dude.
other thing to look at, I think
and
the
then
other
Comic
thing to look
Tom
at-
tried to tell me that his didn't count.
Yeah. His is a trade dress.
My swamp is a trade dress foil.
And I told him that I didn't care, and I said what I said.
The best one is the Bizarro, bro.
Yes, it is.
Which one? There's 3 of them.
Oh my god.
Put them all right next to each other. There's purple, red, and black.
The purple, bro. Come on, dude.
So, guys,
terrible.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So this is like, I'm unaware of this trend because I don't, I'm in the studio and I'm working on the art. So this is like people put their logo on and they make like a foil cover and it's just a logo.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me fill you in real quick. So what's happened recently? What the trend is now is to hit up DC and say, hey, we want to reprint a book from 30 years ago, and we don't really care what book it is. We just want to reprint it, and then on the cover we just want to put a logo, and we want to do it in foil.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Well, if you look at it, like think about, I mean, when I walk into the comic store, like what pops off the shelf, it's like the thing that is now, before it was the amazing artwork, right? And it was like, oh, that's the best. Now it's just like the most minimalistic, just put a pink book on the shelf. Just pink, no logo, nothing, just a pink book. And it will automatically like get, 100 times more traffic. So like, I understand the psychology behind it, but this is the result of
it's
like
when it goes
money,
overboard.
bro.
And
This
it becomes
is overboard. This is
easy money.
Because you got and on that, I think Nakayama stuff. I think JTC negative space stuff. I mean,
Well,
those are.
I got some news to break right here. I've got some news to break right here. The very first House of Stein comic book is going to be a House of Stein logo on a foil background. That's what it's going to be.
No. I don't want to have to add. I don't want to have to add it to this list.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Shout out to High Voltage.
Can I tell you another thing? Back to what I was saying an hour ago.
Hold on real quick, Dennis. My other prediction for New York is that every retailer that thinks they're going to go there and make these guys that invested into 20 variants for this show are going to be financially hurting.
Gonna get their asses handed to them.
Well, remember,
those of us that went into it
That's
with
what I
3
mean
or
by
4
blood on the
really
floor.
solid exclusives. Those of us that went into it with 3 or 4 really solid low print exclusives, not books that were in tens of thousands of dollars, but books were in 5,000 or 6,000. We're going to do exceptionally well. Those of us that have managed to get artists to the tables to do live signings are going to do even better. And I think that's what you're going to see.
Hold on. Let me say
My
something,
trend
Brian.
for next year, you're not going to see variants without artists being involved directly. I think you're going to see a lot more variants with artists being at booths for signings than you're going to see anything else.
Yeah,
and it is the way.
Remember when Frankie's went bankrupt and it came out that they owed like $1.2 million? And
It's 1 point. It's like 1.8.
Okay, so
and it's fucking nuts.
remember how we all said, how the fuck did they get 1 point?
Yeah.
Right there, 20
It's
fucking
this
different
30
variants.
variants for a convention.
Hey,
That's how they did it.
look, I'm going to give you all an idea, and I don't care who goes and does it, but I'm gonna put that cornbread. I'm gonna put the cornbread out there. If I'm a comic book dealer, I'm putting comic books that have invisible ink on it, and the only way you see what cover it is, you gotta spray some water on that motherfucker. And you don't know who the artist is. It could be any artist. And the book is $19.99.
You gotta light it with a lighter. You gotta kind of hit it.
Something. But that's how you flip the script and you differentiate yourself from anybody else. Like that's what you need to do. We're in 2023, dude. Like,
let's talk about these Mexican foils.
80s,
yeah, let's talk about it.
I want to talk about the Mexican foils.
We're doing shit from the 80s, bro.
How did the Mexican foil thing work, James? Because
okay, let me explain this real quick.
Okay.
What the fuck are y'all talking about Mexicans, bro?
So the way these work, and I was curious as well, and I raised a big stink about it publicly, very publicly. Raised a big stink about it, because I was pretty pissed off that we weren't involved or included or talked about or nobody.
Explain why, because this image is
it's the Kelnew Last Ronin 1 that we did. It was one of 2 variants we did for issue 1. So the quick story is we did the Kelnew, and then there was the delay for Last Ronin 1. There was like a 3-month delay. So we went back to IDW about a month into the delay and said, hey, listen, if there's going to be this huge delay, and this sold amazingly, it sold out.
Yeah.
We went back to IDW and said, hey, listen, if there's this huge delay anyways, can we do a second cover? And they said, yeah, what did you have in mind? And that's when we did the Staniak limited to 250.
Yep.
Because
both
it wasn't
of them are
considered...
beautiful.
Yeah, because it wasn't considered an original printing, it was a second. They charged us a plate change fee, and we got to do a 250 print run, which made it the lowest print run Last Run 1 variant, which is why the Staniak blew the fuck up. Besides the fact that it was a beautiful cover, right? It hit on all levels. So a couple of days back, we see this drop. We see a couple of retailers that we knew selling this, and we're like, what the fuck is this about? So I raised a huge stink about it. A big enough stink that the one of the representatives from the company that's doing this reached out to me directly and said, hey, didn't realize this was your cover, didn't mean to step on toes. We purchased the rights from IDW for this cover. We don't retain the right. As a publisher, you don't retain the rights. As an artist, you don't retain the rights. When you do the work, it is a by contract work. And the artwork is given to IDW, Marvel, DC, all the companies. They operate the same way. This artwork, by the way, was on the Last Ronin action figure, or the Funko Pop, along with the Staniak, was also on the Funko Pop, right? We didn't get knowledge of those. There wasn't anything like that, right? We don't own the image anymore. We don't own the image, right? The artist does not own the image. It's how it works, right?
That happened to me in 2010 when I did the Carnage variant.
It happened. It literally, if you've been in the business long enough, it's happened to you. It's happened to you. Europe's done a reprint of your stuff. It's happened in Mexico, whatever. I raised a big enough stink. They reached out and they said, hey, listen, we want to make this right. And if you want to get some, we can get you some at cost. We're like, that sounds great. We just want our customers to be able to have some. But I said, listen, our biggest issue, though, is we want to make sure the artists are getting compensated. Like, even with the Hughes foil we're doing for New York, the first thing we said to Hughes and his rep was like, by the way, we're dropping, I don't know if you know we're doing this, but we're dropping you tables on Thursday at New York. Like, we're dropping you copies. We reached out to Kel as soon as we heard from these guys and said, hey, Kel, just so you know, we're putting this book out. We're not putting this book's being put out. We've been offered some copies. We want to let you know that we're going to get you some comps, right? And we had, through this great conversation we had with them, I think that going forward, at least through this one company, retailers that have done the original book are going to be reached out to first. Because one thing I pointed out was, these guys, if you're going to wholesale these books, if you're the guys producing these and you want to wholesale them, right? Who better to wholesale them to than the people that originally sold them? And they were like, yeah, that's true. So I think in the future, they're going to reach out to They don't legally have to do any of this, by the way.
Yeah, because this is one of the big books this last week. They
can do whatever they want with this.
Yeah, this is an NYCC exclusive, as you see there, from El Quinto Mundo. So many different retailers. I see Trinity selling this. I see Spectral selling this. I see the Comic Corner selling this. It's live right now.
Can I tell you the solution to this, Brian?
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Why are there no more acetate covers?
Because people don't buy them.
No, because it's got a bad connotation to them after the events of.
Nope, and I'll tell you why. The second we raised the giant fucking shitstorm that we raised,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Marvel sent a letter out to all of its variant people saying you cannot and you will not ever alter this.
Yeah.
And the only way that we can stop this kind of infringement where J. Scott doesn't get a piece of J. Scott's art because somebody in Mexico who's dealing through a different licensing agent to do Marvel reprints got to do this. And the only way to make it stink is for Marvel New York and Marvel Orlando to go, what the fuck are you guys doing? You can't do this is a Mexican variant released at New York Comic Con. That's our back door, and you're backdooring us.
It's not a Mexican variant at that point. And I agree with you, Dennis. I agree with you that the ultimate goal would be that these variants to reuse the art, whether it's on t-shirts or coffee mugs or whatever, these artists should be compensated. The problem is the way the contracts are written out now, it's not in there. The language needs to change in their initial contracts is what needs to happen. Now, as retailers, the most we can do is say, hey, listen, if I'm going to, and this is if you're a responsible retailer, and if you're a responsible retailer and you're watching this, if you are going to get into doing something like this or reproducing it as a print or on a t-shirt or whatever, say you purchase the licensing rights to do t-shirts or do prints from Marvel or DC or Image or whoever, just kick some back. Like, it ain't that fucking hard to just say, listen, we're going to send you, tell us what sizes of shirts you want. Tell us how many coffee mugs you want. Because a lot of these artists have their own websites. And just make them partners. That's all you got to do is make them partners on the project. You just say, listen, we're making 1,000 of these. If you want 50 of them, we'll send you. If you want 20, we'll give them to you for free. You want another 30, we'll get them to you at cost. Like that. All you got to do is make them partners and allies. And these artists, this is more than they have gotten in 80 years. Artists have never gotten that treatment. It's always been, we're doing what I want. You got your paycheck. We're going to do with it what we want. And that's the way it is now, and it's the way it always has been. So to be a responsible retailer, all you have to do is say, hey, listen, this is happening. Because this is the exact conversation with Kel New. Bro, this is happening. It's already the books are printed. Like our Kel New last run, I found out they're printed. They're done. Like there's literally at this point nothing we can do. But from the inside,
one of the things that's cool that you're doing is you're taking you're figuring out a way to get copies to Kel New.
From the inside, now we can go, listen, we want to buy this amount of these, but on top of that, we want 10 or 20 copies so that we can give to Kel New.
Yeah, but and just like you said earlier, Brian, there's nothing Brian Pulido could have done to make Melinda tear those up. But 1,000 screaming coffin fans made her tear those up.
That army could make her do a lot of things.
Yeah. She didn't want any part of the Pulido army.
Nope.
But that's what comic book Jesus. That's what I've been telling you for over a year. You have the power. You have the power to rally the people to say, look, if you don't like this, if you don't like J. Scott getting cut out of this, if you don't like Hive's artists getting cut out of this,
Adam Hughes getting cut out of this.
Heard.
Yeah.
You need to make your voices heard.
If you do purchase it responsibly. Purchase it from people that have and this isn't just me toting around. Those are live now. The Kel News. I will sell myself right now. They're live now on the Hive website. We are giving copies to Kel. If you're gonna buy them from people that are fucking giving copies to Kel.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that should be the industry standard.
Well, and you guys are also doing something.
We should not be the exception. That should be the industry standard.
You guys are also doing something similar with your Zatanna books, right? You and Bird City got this Zatanna.
Yeah, so quick on that. We reached out to Adam and said, hey, what are the possibilities of us? Listen, we're reprinting the Zatanna. We did a deal for the Zatanna 15s. We did a Lobos and a Ariel Diaz, beautiful covers. Lobos foil limited to 1,000, Diaz cover limited to 1,500, and then the Hughes limited to 500. And we reached out to Hughes and said, hey, man, can we get you at the booth, or can we get you for an hour for eBay Live? And not Hughes, but his wife. I for the life of me, I keep saying Courtney, but that's freaking Kevin Eastman's lady. But anyways, we reached out and we said, can we make this happen? And they were open and honest and said, listen, Adam gets no compensation for every time these covers are reprinted, which he's fine with. But
it kind of sucks. Like they should go to him first, right of refusal.
What is in it for us? And we straight up said, listen, we had already planned on dropping copies off to you first thing Thursday at San Diego. And if you want monetary compensation, we can work that out for a signing. But I promise you, we are going to make sure that you guys are well taken care of for us reusing his artwork for yet another printing. And she said, that is awesome. That is more than most retailers have ever done. And that's sad. That response made me sad.
Yeah.
That it's not that comps are one thing, and that's great. And retailers should always do comps. But the fact that you can reprint an image, and most of the time reprinted images, people don't compensate in any way or fashion. Money
or even just tell them. Because, like we said, Hughes didn't even know about those Loesch books. No one told him.
He even knew about it.
No,
he didn't.
His wife found out about him. Yeah,
and like
on the internet.
Yeah.
And that sucks, man. And here's the thing, though. And as a retailer, there's two reasons why you would let them know. Okay, there's the right reason, which is I just want to give you a heads up, and I want to make sure that you know that you're being well taken care of. And then there's the other reason, which is a reason that all retailers should be doing it. If you're a smart retailer, okay? If you're a nice retailer, you let them know and say, hey, look, we're going to compensate you. If you're a smart retailer, you say, listen, we're doing a 500 print run of this book. It's happening. We're going to bring you 50 copies. What we would love for you to do is maybe give a little announcement that we're going to be selling these. And I guarantee you 99 out of 100 times, they're going to be like, you're going to drop off 10% of your print run on my table. And all I've got to do is make a post that like, hey, when I sell out, you can go get him at this table. They're going to be all about it because those comps he dropped off at their table, they're going to make thousands of dollars that show.
Well, yes. And here's another important,
make them into allies.
This is the important thing. Yes. And that is with everything, it's so important that's the community, right? Your people who buy things from you and support you are your partners in this. Every time that Tilla brings a book to a con, he's walking around at the con. People are coming up to him and they're talking to him. He's talking to him about their con. He's there. He's giving people time. That will mean so much more in the future because those people are going to say, hey, dude, this dude's a cool cat. Make sure you check him out. Hey, dude, this dude's a cool cat. Make sure you check him out. Instead of you being asleep at your table because you had a hard couple weeks and, it's hard to talk to your fans and to draw on your comics, right? That's important. If you're an artist or a creator out there, always be engaged with your fan base.
I'll tell you, like one thing, guys, like that's one thing I learned from coming from the music business. And just as we were talking about Cleveland earlier, and my guy Josh finding out he's from Fairport, I'll use a Cleveland example. But when I was producing music in the early 2000s, I witnessed I worked with a lot of new artists in making music, but I witnessed the hustle of a young Machine Gun Kelly. If you're familiar with the rapper Machine Gun Kelly, now he's doing the rock music. Some people love him, some people hate him, whatever. It's kind of like a divisive individual.
Divisive, yeah.
I personally, I've worked with him before on a lot of stuff from music to visuals, but I respect the hustle so much because I've never, like this dude was in high school parking lots And you had the Bryan Palmito, is that it? Is that how you say it?
Polito.
Yeah, Polito. You had that interview the other day, and he was talking about ICP, and that's another group. Like both of those guys, and it doesn't surprise me that Machine Gun Kelly went on.
Cleveland, don't be touching ICP. That's Detroit's biz.
Hey, they came to our territory. They pulled up in the van outside the community pool, and they were handing out CDs.
You better be down to clown, Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely, man. For life, bro. Juggalo for life, man. But hey, but yeah, those types of hustles I've seen pay off. Where I worked with other artists that didn't do that were just as talented, but seeing Machine Gun Kelly actually go to high school parking lots and kids coming out of high school swarming their van and to get a CD or to meet him personally, it set apart him from the other guys that wouldn't do meet and greets. They would be at the I saw artists do meet and greets where they'd be outside having cigarettes while the DJ is inside waiting to meet them. And it's like, come on, man. And what you were saying about me being on the floor and handing out books, that's the fun part for me. So it's not even like a job. It's like, no, this is actually, this is why I do the job,
I just want to interject this though. The problem is, and I'll say this about a lot of comic artists, they've gotten lazy. Yeah. They don't want to do shows. They want to bitch if they charge $200 for a commission. They want to bitch that it's sold for $500 on eBay the next week. Well, then raise your price to $500 if you don't want somebody doing that.
Sounds like Adam Hughes.
Well, I didn't say that, Josh. I didn't say that at all.
I did.
And I think we all talked about it earlier today or yesterday with the pop Kickstarter variant selling for $1,000 on his table. Yeah. And it's going for $200 on eBay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dichotomy to this, but Tilla, I'm just telling you, that's how you hustle, and that's how we respect those people.
Yeah.
There's very few people in the comic industry right now that do that. And aside from Bryan Polito, who I've called the hardest working man in comics for like the last legend. 20 years.
He's a legend.
People like Illust Illuminati, Javon Jordan, he's been grinding it and hustling it. There's a whole lot of artists that do, but there's a whole lot that don't, and guess what? They're the ones bitching the loudest.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's an advantage to be a social person if you're an artist. A lot of artists are closet people, and that's why they are artists, is because they don't have that social aspect to them, and they use that as an excuse to say, "Oh well, that's why I'm a good artist, is because I'm I'm a recluse and I stay inside." But to me, it's no excuse.
300 concert gigs.
What's that?
Sorry? Meanwhile, Taylor Swift has 300 concert gigs.
Yeah, it pays. It pays to go out there and be social. And if you're not, force yourself. Like, this is your business. This is your product. And you have to convince people of why it's better than the next guy. And if you're that confident where you're like, well, my stuff is so good, I don't have to talk to people. I hope it is that good. Because there are a handful of people that, you don't have to, HR Giger doesn't have to say anything to anybody ever. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever. But, for us guys that have something to prove, like, I'll never be untouched.
That's why Bryan Polito did what he did this week. I mean, he pulled the boss card like he should. There's people that have put in that work. Bryan's went through hell with his IPs, and he's not going to let it happen again. And, I understand that
Bryan,
completely.
You know this as well as all of us do, too. Bryan has a business model, and Bryan also is, and I'm not saying this to inflate me or deflate Bryan. Bryan's a lot like me. He won't put up with fucking shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I get a lot of flack in this industry for what I've done. I've knocked 3 retailers on their asses over the last 20 years in the circuit. Okay. I've put promoters up against the wall because they didn't come through on their agreements.
Dennis is a great friend to have in this industry and a horrible fucking enemy.
Yeah, I mean, look, my body count of enemies that are floating by on the river. Where's Mark Wade? Where's Mark fucking Wade?
Well, you know what cracked me up? We're gonna end drama alert on this. This is what cracked me up. This guy decided to jump in the conversation in the Bolo conversation.
The bean?
Yeah, this "do you have the beans" guy. He goes,
I think it's a chick.
Is it a chick? I don't know.
Yeah.
They. I'll say they. Let's say they. Just to be.
He's pimping out his girlfriend to sell books on whatnot.
He basically, this guy's like starts throwing shots at Dennis, and he asks Dennis like, "Who are you?" Like, I hope you have fun with that 1,900 followers. I have 4,300 followers on Whatnot and all this funny shit. And I was like, "Are you?"
Has more weekly customers or monthly customers than she has followers.
He says, "Who are you?" And then Dennis goes, first 2 years of Whatnot, hired gun for the conventions, the guy who introduced Liefeld to Bolo, and one of the old school top G's of the app. That's all I am. And this guy goes, "Oh, congratulations on your 1,900 followers, on the app." And then Dennis goes, "You're funny. Who are you again?" And the guy goes, "Truly no one, but still rocking on Whatnot with more followers than you." You know what I mean? He's like, "I've got 4.2 thousand followers and 3,000 followers on here. Who?"
And you know what? I bet you 1,500 of them are spam accounts. Like
I don't know. Anybody that would just bring out follower count and talk about that shit is so cheesy.
And honestly, though, I will say this. I am such an asshole that most of the people in the industry know who I am. I have no idea who the Bean is. He just needs to go back and start flicking his bean, because that's all I care about him.
But there's a difference between an asshole in the community and being somebody who's an asshole that sticks by their guns. And people that know Dennis know that his opinion is his opinion. You're never going to sway Dennis off his opinion. But if you acknowledge the fact that Dennis has probably more knowledge in his left pinky than you have in your entire body, and you're willing to sit down and listen for a minute, you're going to learn some valuable shit.
Yeah,
and
I would suggest that anybody that gets a chance to have a drink with Dennis at a con, do it. Don't pass it. Don't pass that opportunity.
Don't hesitate for a second. You do it.
Well, it's not so much that, guys. I give my knowledge freely.
Yep.
I don't care about that. You can't buy me. I'm incorruptible. Yeah,
you stick to your guns unequivocally.
Yeah.
Like you stick to your guns.
Yeah, and the thing is if you know how many times a young retailer's walked up to me, and that's where, me and Adam Freeman, I'm talking to 3 retailers back in 2012 at San Diego, and Adam Freeman comes up and goes, "Dennis, you're the biggest laughing stock in the comic industry." And I'm like, "Who are you?" "Adam Freeman, Brave New World, Eisner winner." I'm like, "I have no idea who you are." And then meanwhile, literally in succession over the last 10 years, his wife divorced him.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Took his store.
No, let's give
shitty publisher till he found Dinesh.
Let's
and now he's at Bad Idea. Who's the laughing stock now, Adam? Exclamation point.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is this. Thank you for everybody being part of Drama Alert this week. Let's end it on this.
Can you hear me out there? Hey, man, don't be squirting water at me. I'm gonna fuck your girlfriend, pal.
The great David Lee Roth takes us back into the regular show. Dennis, thank you for hanging out with us, brother. You're more than welcome to hang out longer, as everybody is. Just throw up the deuces when you want. I want to talk about FOC because we have the new FOC selections this week from Lefteros, and we got to knock that out. So let's do that. We'll talk about NYCC more. Hopefully, maybe Wednesday we might be able to get Vinny to jump on with us Wednesday and talk about it too. We want to hear from Vinny for sure. But all right, let's get into some FOC selections. Shout out to Lefteros. I love Lefteros's work on IG. He's also doing great articles for Cover Price. Shout out to Cover Price, 2 of the best. Cover Price is just amazing, and it is definitely well worth the money if you're paying to utilize it. All right, let's get into it. Rare Flavors #1, the third printing is coming out, announced on short notice after the second print was allocated by Boom. This is another cover by Philip Andrade. Is that right? Philip Andrade. So there you go. A lot of people talking about this series. Very interesting storyline. If you don't know about Rare Flavors, it is a crazy, interesting indie comic that you'll love. I guarantee it. Supergirl special #1. This is the cover D. Of course it is, by Will Jack. And it is a beautiful Will Jack. One Supergirl. Hey, listen. Here's what I'll say about Will Jack. Will Jack caught some shit about AI, and it was unwarranted. This guy can actually draw. This guy can draw. He can put pen to paper, pencil to paper. He is absolutely an amazing artist, and I'll give him credit for that. As soon as his name started being brought up with anything weird, he said, "Let me show you how I create, how I do my process." And he always starts.
Brian.
Yes.
The pressure made him
do
that, and now he's a better content creator.
Yes.
Overall, because he does that, and that's the power of the
honesty.
voice.
Yep. Yeah, that's why we hold honesty in such high regard. You know. All right.
Rare commodity right now.
Yep. So this will be open order foil variant, $8.99 though cover. So there you go. Next, Somna #1. This is from Distillery. Shout out to all the people over at Distillery. I like what they're doing. I think it's a great idea. It reminds me of like back when like Dark Horse was doing their anthology stuff, and Vertigo was doing cool shit. Like they're doing cool anthology, cool writing stuff. And
Can I just say, Jay Lee's putting out some of the best work he's put out in the last.
The best work he's ever put out. I agree. Hands down.
Yeah.
We will have some exciting Distillery news after Post New York. We've got some very in-depth meetings with the fellows over there.
Yeah. Shout out to Chip.
We've been dealing with them for years before they even started the publishing stuff. So we've got some cool stuff coming.
Cover F is the Jay Lee cover, and it is beautiful. Left row says an intoxicating blend of history, eroticism, and the supernatural. In these, you also got art and stories by Becky Cloonan and Tula Lote, plus many more. Check it out. Transformers #1. Transformers is probably the hottest series over the last couple months, that's for sure. Even though San Diego books that were given out at San Diego are still selling for a pretty penny.
A lot of money.
Yeah. You're going to get it. Go ahead.
There's 5 second prints?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5. We were laughing about that too, Josh.
Okay, whatever.
We had a big laugh about that on a big private chat with a bunch of us retailers. So
if you print them, they will pay for them. So just wait for the 1 in 22s that Skybound's going to be putting out for second and third printings. Bumblebee second print variant cover depiction by Greg Tocchini. I like the second prints that they did for Void Rivals #1, and I like that how they did that across the other lines with other characters. I would think that would be a cool thing to collect. But I also like that shout out to Clutch and Wanted Comics for the Maria Wolf grab. She is a huge Transformers nerd and fan, and it's pretty cool to see her knocking out some good artwork for them. So check those out. Next, Punisher #1. First appearance of a new Punisher, you guys. What do you think about this?
Nope, don't like it.
I like that the old logo's coming back.
I mean, I like that, but Frank Castle or bust.
Is it coming back?
I mean, no, that's more futuristic take on it, but
it says, I think we're all cautiously optimistic about what this new take on the Punisher by David Pepos. Who's
the writer? Oh yeah,
that's David. Yeah.
Rod Reese is the cover artist.
Yeah, and art by Dave Watcher.
You got to be careful with that outfit because that top is looking mad like a bikini top, like the eyes and stuff. We need the outline. We need the outline of the logo. Otherwise, it's looking like a two-piece.
Yep. A negative space variant of this would just look like a bikini.
Yeah.
And then finally, we've got
Headlights are on.
Star Wars High Republic #1. Of course, this is the main cover of the new volume, right? So
Series 2, High Republic 1, Series 2?
Yeah. First issue of the third High Republic series.
No, third, Volume 3.
Yeah, Volume 3. Possible intro of the Children of the Storm. So, interesting there. All right. You've got Deadpool 7 Slaughters #1, a cool Ryan Brown cover, and a Punisher #1 Scotty Young variant to be on the lookout for. I'm sure that will be a big book, but that's interesting. It's interesting. Ryan Brown's a great cover artist. The Ryan Brown without the E is the one that I really like. But then you've got the Savage Red Sonja Art Adams cover, which is awesome.
Yeah, I ordered a version of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still here. I'm just shutting off cam for a minute.
Okay. And then Red Light #1 by Frank Cho and Sabine Rich. Another great cover. So check out coverprice.com and make sure you're giving Lefteros a follow. He does his new comic book day selections all the time too. And then finally, let's jump on over to our boy Billy at Economic and Comics, or you can go to economicandcomics.com/collections for the pre-order bundles. The best selling is what we're going to stay with. We're just going to go over some of them. This is, I think, the better play. And you've got the distillery stuff, which is interesting. The Tula Lotte Not Safe for Work cover is what a lot of people are going for. Get the Batman and Catwoman Gotham Wars Scorched Earth one-shot right there. Wow, look at that. Oh.
Meow.
Yeah, mama.
Mama.
Hey, somebody clip the Josh meow, please.
What if Dark Tomb of Dracula art germ variant? Ooh.
Yeah, I missed out on that. There's a 1 in 100 version.
Of that. 1 in 100 version? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Gods #2. You've got, this is the design I'm talking about. The Jason Howard second printing design. I like this design that they're running with.
We're working on a side note. We're working on a table signing because we have a Transformers 1 exclusive for New York with Bird City.
Oh yeah.
We're working on a table signing with the writer, and I think we've got it, but we don't have it scheduled yet.
Nice.
But it sounds like it's going to happen. So,
Amazing Spider-Man 37, the secret Disney variant, just Secret Wars, of course.
Overplayed.
Yep. And the facsimile foil 141, which I'm tired of. Thanos #1, the Kendrick Lim variant. Everybody's going after. Black Armor Daredevil by Paulo Sequeira. Sequeira's been sick lately, man.
If the foil wasn't enough to tell you that we were back in the 90s, that Daredevil costume should say it all.
Look at this Red Light cover by Jeff DeCall.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow.
I love that. DeCall? Yeah, of course it's DeCall.
Jesus. AWA. Thanos #1. This is a killer fucking cover. This is, when I saw this cover come out on solicitations, I couldn't believe it. The background is awesome. The regular cover. This is Linnell Francis Yu at his best, and I want one of these. I want the Virgin if they have it. I don't care. I want that as a print. It's so good. Here's another one of the Jason Howard Transformers.
My favorite out of those.
Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man 37 tick suit, Marvel Spider-Man 2, I guess. I don't know what's going on there.
They're releasing a bunch of those. Are going to be skins in the new Spider-Man 2 video game, so they're doing a bunch of covers of the skins.
Okay, that makes sense. Darth Vader, Star Wars Darth Vader #40. That's a pretty sick cover. You got the Deadpool 7 Slaughter #1 Garson variant, which is interesting. Here's the Savage Red Sonja. This Thanos #1 by Phil Noto's not too bad either. That's a good
homage. It's not shabby.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you guys about it. It's not part of the drama alert, but I just filmed an episode of a TV show where the expert on the comic books for that TV show.
I heard
that
about
buys
this.
things. Yeah, I haven't. I just the variant there where it's the homage, the Phil Noto homage, reminded me of this. Did you know that George Perez is only known for his DC work and has never really worked for Marvel? And and they wouldn't understand why they would get George Perez to draw Thanos with an Infinity Gauntlet. And that's the expert that they had Dino.
Oh my God!
So Dino and I went to go shoot this TV show.
Yeah,
and that was the expert they had Dino present the George Perez piece.
I heard said TV show is talking to a lot of people in the collectibles industry. Is that true?
Yeah, and they don't know anything.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Look at this beautiful, Amazing Spider-Man number 37 cover. Look at that, dude. That is sick. I love this character, whoever it is. I don't know what's going on here, but this looks like the Spider-Hulk character, and I'm cool for that. Star Wars High Republic Shadows of Starlight. You got the 3-pack here of the High Republic, number 1, volume 3, number 1. Transformers, Louis LaRosa. You got the video game Krajansky variant, which is interesting.
Can you click on that one? The Somna number 1 wrap.
Oh, the wrap. Hold on, right there.
That one, yeah.
Tula Lote.
Mama.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Jesus.
That's nice.
Yeah. There's that. You've got more Star Wars High Republic stuff. You've got more Daredevil stuff. That sucks. Jesus. Red Sonja. That's a great Red Sonja cover by Frank. Is that Frank Cho? Yeah. Wow. That is money in the bank. House of Slaughter. Miko Suyan, Punisher, which is nice. King Spawn
Nikki Barucci
cover.
was in the chat earlier, too.
Shout out to Nikki Barucci. Dynamite. Killing it. Space Usagi. Red Light. You've got the King Spawn. You've got the Batman and Catwoman. Another Thanos. You can get the 4-cover pack if you want the 4-cover pack at Economics of Comics. I like how he does that every once in a while. He does the packs. This is just an easy website to go through. You got all the badass Vampirella covers, which are always good for the Dead Flowers stuff. More Red Sonja stuff. Detective Comics 1076. All right, let's see what we got. My dog is going crazy. It's almost time to feed her, and that's going to be a problem. All right, Rocketeer. Operation Sunshine. Godzilla. We've got... Tell me if you guys see anything that you like. Count Crowley. This X-Force cover is interesting. This Spider-Man, Uncanny Spider-Man Lee Garbett cover is interesting. This X-Force cover is interesting. We've got... Ooh, Unleash. Marvel Unleash, Ron Lim. Why do I like that cover?
It's Doctor Strange's dog.
That's a great cover right there, dude. That's a cool cover. Hopefully it glows in the dark. Guardians. Ooh, Bill Sienkiewicz, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's nice.
Deadpool's an interesting perspective. Sarah Pacelli.
Yeah, that is nice. Ooh, what's this? Daredevil, Black Armor, Gustavo Duarte, Howard the Duck variant. That's interesting. Look at that. Huh. I like that. Captain Marvel. Pass.
I watched an interesting thing about Howard the Duck, and I think that the whole skinny cinematic universe / new take on Howard for the comics is all to differentiate him from Donald.
Yeah. That makes sense. Supergirl one-shot, the Frank Cho cardstock variant. You got the Walking Dead Deluxe. That's a nice J.H. Williams cover. Michonne connecting cover, maybe. That's an interesting Spirit World cover by Jen Bartel. Cardstock. Get the Detective Comics. All right, last page. Here we go. Blood Commandment number 1. Krajansky Demon cover. That's interesting. Aquaman stuff is terrible. This Batman cover is interesting. Is that Adam Hughes? That's Adam Hughes. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I love when Adam Hughes does Catwoman. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is FOC.
The book for FOC is Amazing Spider-Man 37, the 1 in 25 Art Adams.
Okay,
that is the book that everybody should have already ordered, and if you haven't ordered it, you should order it because it's good. And his books sell.
What is it? Amazing Spider-Man? What number?
37. It's the 1 in 25 Art Adams. I would be shocked if that book doesn't hit $100. Like, because what's that one that's? What was that other one he did that was recent that was hitting like $100? I forget which.
You know, I could remember a day when Art Adams did not get the respect in this industry. Like, he would be at a show and he would just be sitting, empty tabled, but man, he's getting the love and he's getting he's putting out the work now.
He was my go-to at San Diego. He was the first table that I hit. Him and God damn it, Alex Pardee. I hit up Alex Pardee first, and then I hit up Art Adams. Every day I'd hit up Art Adams, man.
That's gonna be the cover that pops for this FOC.
It's a 1 in 25 too, which is nice.
Yep. And they didn't do a cover A or any of that where it's the same thing, so
this main cover is not too bad for that, man. I like this character. I'm a fan of that design of Spider-Man, that Spider-Hulk design. Here's the Kari Andrews variant. I saw him working on this. This is beautiful. Gorgeous. Looks like McFarlane, doesn't it? Doesn't this look like McFarlane?
It does.
Oh, man, that's beautiful. So that's a good one. So is the Kirkham. This Kirkham's not terrible. Stormbreakers. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. That is FOC.
Can you go to the one? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Which one?
The books that were just up. There was the one that kind of highlighted the skins, the Spider-Man skins.
This one?
Yeah. Can you click on that real quick?
Yeah.
Is that an illustration or is that like?
It's probably digital art.
I'm assuming that that's taken from the game and put on the cover.
See, I'm really into this. Is like the first couple books that I made were all made in 3D. So my 3D software, my book, Little Bitcoin, was made all in 3D. And I'm really into this. Like, I like 3D generated images. And I like, I've just seen 3D artists that, the computer is their canvas.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'm just always on the lookout for 3D generated art, whether it's on a cover or if it's. I barely ever see like an entire interior done in 3D software. That's why I like to do mine that way. But I just anytime that I see a book like this, I'm like, oh, that was made differently. So that's why it stands out to me, which is really cool. And I just want to see more 3D generated cover art and from like the best 3D artists in the world. I would love to see them contributing and showing us like just like that art, that skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that'd be dope.
I want to definitely go over a couple of amazing artists that I've seen lately. I love to go ahead and show some new artists and stuff here. There is some amazing stuff out there. Hold on here 1 second. All right, let me go here. So this new artist that I found is freaking badass. He goes by Chris Jacob or Kill Switch, I think is his name.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, look
That's
at this,
cool.
bro. Watch this.
I saw that the other day. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very creative.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, it's just nuts to think that this little video of him popping up, that's the art. Because if you just see the final result of it dripping, you'd be like, okay, cool picture. But sometimes it ends up being the process or the video of the process that becomes the real
Oh, it's like Banksy when he had that shredder machine on the bottom.
Yeah. It becomes like performance art almost.
Yeah, it's the story of how it came to be.
I've seen a lot of stuff like people do that on, on Instagram and stuff where the video ends up getting millions of views, and it's like a video like this where the artwork probably isn't even viewed over 1,000 times in real life. So it just shows you the value of getting creative with the delivery of your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
It's really cool too.
And
I
you
didn't
can never
even think you could really push it
never
behind.
recreate these.
What's that?
One and done.
Yeah, one and done, dude. It's badass. It's super, super cool, dude. So this is his name is Chris Jacobs. Jacob is spelled Jacoub. Chris Jacob Art, dude, and he's just got a bunch of beautiful pieces. Look at this one right here.
I want to see like a alien bursting out of someone's chest and like or just like popping out, like running down their shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do a bunch of different things with this though, yeah. This concept.
This is absolutely crazy, dude. So that was some good stuff from him. I've got some more here. All right. This is a guy that goes by Jackson Shaner. He's a ceramic guy, and this is a crazy ceramic piece that he made. Look at this fucking piece, dude. Look at that with the faces like that.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, right? That right there is beautiful, dude. I've always loved people that work with ceramics and sculpture and clay, and it's always been amazing to me to see like 3D functional pieces, semi-functional pieces like this. So very, very cool. This guy's got a bunch of great stuff on his page. Go check him out.
Cool thing about that is you could use a phone to 3D scan it, and then you could replicate it.
Yep.
So,
3D art,
like
or 3D print.
He can use traditional methods of like ceramics and pottery, but then utilizing technology to replicate it or make it dozens of times over. That's a possibility. Yeah, with 3D printing, which is really cool.
Shout out to Chad Keith, who is continuing just to do amazing painting artwork. The new Wanted Comics NYCC variant is dropping this week at NYCC for the Creep Show, and this is the image right here, and it's absolutely beautiful. And he put up all these recent paintings. This is Creep Show 1 that Wanted Comics put out, the original. This is number 2. This is look at this one right here, this Ouija board work that he did for somebody. This is just absolutely gorgeous. These are 24 by 36 inches paintings. Yeah, man. Chad Keith is like next level, just doing amazing stuff. It's absolutely amazing. All right, check out this guy. This guy, his name, he goes by Marcos and Antunes or
Illustroverso.
Yeah. And this is crazy of him doing this Miles Morales piece. Absolutely nuts.
I already want it, and it's not even like halfway done.
Right? This is
just the detail of the face and the hood by itself.
It's so good, bro. That's why I love art and finding new artists.
Is he doing that on glass?
No, he's doing it on cardboard, like a brown cardboard. Look at the beginning. Look at this. See?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just absolutely amazing.
Damn.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, that's next level shit, dude. So that was really cool. All right, here's another piece.
You gotta wonder if he needs like a magnifying glass or something. Like sometimes they'll have a magnifying glass like over the table with like coming around like this.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, if that helps him.
That is tight work right there.
Yeah, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, doing all those dots like that, like,
or those lines. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I thought it was glass. He has a piece of plexi. He slides over so he doesn't.
Yes. Yeah.
He rests his hand on the plexi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
This is that artist, Sveta. She goes by Sveta.
Yeah.
It's Sveta Shubina, and shout out to Clutch for bringing her up. She's amazing, and this is a new piece. It says this year's Pumpkinette. I love this like pinup style that she does, man. Look at that.
I DM'd her and she never DM'd me back, and it
Really?
made me sad.
I think she's Russian.
I wanted to buy some stuff. I mean, I got Google Translate.
I know, right? I want some stuff from her too, dude. I would buy prints of this. I love jack-o'-lantern shit, so you're gonna see a ton of jack-o'-lantern shit from me this month. Here's some more cool shit that she
Dude,
put
do you
out.
know the story behind the jack-o'-lantern? I won't tell it to you, but I won't tell it to you because I don't remember it exactly. But I just saw something on Instagram, like it was one of those like 30-second videos that's like explains the background of like why we have a jack-o'-lantern. But basically, it's like some dude named Jack is like walking around because he's trapped on Earth. And he had to like light some, I don't know. Look up. If you're a big fan of the jack-o'-lantern, you should know the history. So there is a history to it. Check it out after our session tonight or something like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That shit blows. I love that shit. This is another badass artist, Richard Carter. It looks like is his name. He goes by Char Art is Blue on IG.
Got some One Piece going on there.
Bro, look at this. Absolutely beautiful watercolor. And then he's got more. Hold on, let me show you. Look at how badass this dude is. Great stuff. Here's his pencil art. Here's some of, I mean, this is beautiful stuff. Great work. Look at this. Right? I love this shit. There's something about it that just looks dope. There's something that catches you. I don't know what it is, man, but it's good. It's good shit. So that's really good. All right, the way this starts with this poster right here. One of my all-time grails is to get an original of this, right? The original, I want you for the U.S. Army, you know, that original poster. I think it was from like the 1913, maybe World War I type stuff. But here they are doing a restoration on it. And this channel is one of the best IG channels to watch.
I watch this like every other day.
Right?
So amazing.
Fourth Cone Restoration is what they're called. They did a restoration of the Skull and Roses Grateful Dead poster. Oh, man. It's like everything they do is something that I want. They do these badass old school magician restoration, you know, posters and linen. It's just, I would love to get them on and have them come on with some of our comic book presser, you know, people, and just drop knowledge, because you know they got just great knowledge. So if you guys ever need anything restored, maybe reach out to them and check them out. That's pretty cool. All right, this is that Cam Rackham guy. I talked about him a few weeks ago. This guy is bad fucking ass, man. He does this, right? Like death, but it's all pink. Mm-hmm. And there is something about this image right here that is so badass.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, dude. Get this fucking in a nice frame.
I can see like an all-girl Black Sabbath cover band.
Hell yeah, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, that's sick, bro. Dude. Like he's just got, look at that. That's beautiful. This right here is awesome. Like a bunch of skulls.
Have you ever heard of the 3D artist? His name is Bill Ellis.
Yes, I believe I have.
He does kind of similar, like very ornate, mixed with like skeletal type of stuff and mixed together. I would love to see a collaboration between. That's like where I think like, you know, traditional fine artists and 3D artists. Like if you find two that really complement each other's style,
that would be really sick.
It'd be awesome just to see those worlds like cross. And you know, I think it's also a win for art just in general. Just like, you know, the new and the traditional kind of coming together. But yeah, this guy is super dope.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh yeah, wait. Oh yeah, so this is Bill Ellis right here?
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. Okay, so you guys get it.
Hell yeah, bro. I love this shit, man.
That's what I mean. You bring those two worlds together, and it's just, could be a new type of art that really emerges, or a new type of collaboration.
Yeah, I always love this religious undertones thing that's going on.
Back to our discussion about AI from 2 hours ago.
Kicking it old school here.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I think AI can unlock some of this shit to allow artists to see something they haven't seen before, and then be able to create this new form of art that launched from a computer's brain rather than our very two-hemisphered brain.
It's a tool. It is a tool that is, if it is properly utilized. And they say it's oils on canvas. We know what tools were used. As long as the artwork that is created is digital, like 80% digital, 20% AI, cool. We know what tools were used. And at that point, if you know what tools were used and you choose to purchase, great. As long as it's not something that's being sold to what it isn't. If somebody gets on and says, I did this digitally, and then we found out that there was 100% AI, well, there's a vast difference between creating something through digital means and creating something through AI. And I think that's the issue.
And just to make it clear, none of this was created with AI. This is all 3D software right here.
Yeah,
this artist is all 3D. So if you can find
hours upon hours upon hours creating that, it wasn't done by creating prompts. It was done by meticulously creating that through 3D rendering and multiple other,
a little bit more of like sculptor type of approach. I guess you would say, like, all of this stuff was sculpted. He's actually made his own skulls. Like, he has a skull pack where you can like buy the 3D asset of an iconic Bill Ellis modeled skull, which I bought, and I've used in my work before, because once you buy it,
they're that good.
It's your asset. That's why they make these 3D packs for people to do it. But so he's a little bit more of like a sculptor, like a 3D sculptor, 3D artist. But I love the idea of like, just a 3D artist collaborating with a 2D artist, and then you take the AI and you pack it on top of that, and it just turns into an explosion of just, what are we looking at? And this is blowing my mind, and it's awesome. But I think, to your point, what you were saying about why people want that transparency is because you value it differently when you know that 150 hours were put into this versus 150 seconds. Because you can, because you need to value those things differently. Yeah. If somebody just clicked a button in Midjourney or whatever, and they can make an amazing image in 30 seconds versus somebody that put 300 hours, it's unfair to value those things the same. When it was like 300 hours went into something, it's it might be of the same value to certain people, but it's worth being transparent about that process so that people can value it accurately.
I would buy, if I had two paintings, and I think everybody could say this, if you had two pictures that we'll say they're almost identical, and you're purchasing them, and one is an oils on canvas that the artist says it took me 280 hours to produce, and another one is a watercolor, we'll say that it took 110 hours to produce, and then there's a guy that's like, well, I made this one-of-one print that took me 30 minutes to produce, and they're the same price. Which one are you buying? Right? There's going to be people that like
which
oils.
one looks the best.
Or there's going to be people that like water. Was you couldn't copyright it, right? And then with the advent of cryptocurrency, or not cryptocurrency itself, but being able to like watermark an image, digitally watermark an image through cryptocurrency, right?
Blockchain technology.
Yeah, which was making a NFT basically, right?
Yeah.
Before that, digital art didn't have a price or a value, because you could spend hours creating a beautiful digital piece of art, but you couldn't guarantee it was a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 5 or a 1 of 10, because there was no certificate of authenticity, because I could take a screenshot and reproduce it, right? You can still take a screenshot of an NFT and reproduce it. Attila knows way more about this than any of us will, but you can still do it, but it's not the piece, right? And so
how does he sell original pieces of art like this?
I don't
know. Bill Ellis, does he sell I don't know.
Is that what you're kind of getting at? Like,
no, what I was getting at was that 10 years ago there was no value in digital art, because there was no way to secure provenance. Now there's a way to secure provenance, and there's value in digital art.
Well, I think that the value is not placed on like. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
And with AI created art, right? It's not special because anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's less of a value that we put on it. Now, there's not saying that something 5 years down the road where it becomes maybe a little more special.
Yes.
The thing that made digital art valuable, I don't think is like the value that comes with NFTs. I think people just saw that this shit takes an insane amount of work. That is worth something. That is the value, is this person did something that's extremely hard. Like when you look at the Bill Ellis pieces, or you look at any imaging like Boss Logic or whatever, the people earned their money. Like it wasn't like, you know, the NFT, like there became a method to pay for things. So that was like, okay, now we can finally pay for this. It was just like, because we're still kind of going through a problem of like, people don't know how to buy digital artwork still. Like, it's not like, oh, NFT solved the problem and now it's thriving. It's like, no, we're still fighting for the value on digital art. But I think people are just starting to come around to, okay, this person made a painting with a paintbrush and they did it in 3 hours. This person did a 3D render. It took them a week. This person that did the 3D render put in more work than the person with the paintbrush. That in a just world, that would have more value in it. And it's starting to become overwhelming, where you're like, okay, the Mona Lisa is a beautiful painting by a single person. Does that compare to the Call of Duty video game series and the, you know, like how does, like, because to me, I look at, you know, like some of these paintings, even like the classical paintings that are amazing for their time and their technology, but you compare it to like Grand Theft Auto and you're like, this art is an amazing painting that we respect in history, but this art is a colossus of like a step in mankind in the same way. I don't know. It's I don't know if that totally makes sense, but it's a developing thing. The value attached to digital art, and you're going to see the same thing with AI art. I hope everybody can just stay open-minded to the art as it develops, and also take note of the artist and the sweat that they're putting into it, and you know, keep that in mind when we're valuing these things.
Yeah. I didn't do a good job displaying what I was trying to say. I knew a lot of digital artists 10 years ago that were producing amazing pieces, like this crazy outer space landscapes and stuff like that. and there was no value given to it because it was created digitally. And granted, it took them tens of hours or hundreds of hours to produce it, but there's no way to, once you made it and you made it public, it was just a right-click save, and it belonged to everybody. And there was this great, for those people, this great happening came upon where it was, you could attach an NFT to it. You could attach something that was a certificate of authenticity to its original.
Now that we have you here,
it was a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think about the NFT wave right now? Because it feels like the NFT wave has just totally kind of subsided a little bit.
Where are you at with that?
You know, we call that FUD.
Yeah.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah.
You guys are familiar with that term, FUD?
Yes.
Fudding?
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
It's just FUD, man. Like, and it's like all the headlines that just smacked at the same time, because I follow them all on an app called Feedly. So anything that comes up with the word NFT, I get all of those things. And it was just within like a week's time. Well, it was that whole they did some research paper where they said that 98% of just that NFTs have lost all their value. They're worthless. There was that one research document that came out 2 weeks ago or whatever. And now everybody is, I don't see, that's it.
Luck is a concept.
Here's the thing. This is art. I can touch it. Now, it's art when I can't touch it.
Yeah.
But this is, my daughter painted this for me for Father's Day.
Okay.
But I have this right on my desk. Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's the problem.
Parks and Rec, baby.
Art is also tangible.
Depends on how you collect your art. You like
Holy
to collect
shit.
tangible art. Some people like to collect.
Brian,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
You actually got hacked.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, your channel got taken over. Look back at the feedback.
Are you
go
kidding
back,
me, bro?
You go
That's
back
why
like
I said you cannot leave the
7 or 8
show
minutes,
off with the
bro.
Max Headroom
7 or 8
hack.
minutes.
It's just
7 or 8
brought
minutes.
on.
You got
It
fucking
just brought
your
that
channel got
on.
taken over.
Wow.
I'm not
That's
even shitting you.
Oh my god, dude. That was Bolo. All right, so we got some more art here. Check this out. Steve Mannion is a beast, and nobody talks about him.
That's
yeah,
really cool.
fucking A.
Hey, 2 seconds before we move on. Let me just finish my one thought, because I was just been leading up and explaining. But I just wanted to say that I think don't sleep on the NFT movement. Like, I'm a huge fan of it, and there's so many talented people that are there still creating.
Oh yeah,
and the fact that this generation that's coming after ours, the kids that are 15 and 20 years old, they're doing all the microtransaction video game stuff. They're buying skins. They're buying digital. All they know is digital.
Yeah.
Or a lot of what they know is like these digital transactions. This is not going to be a foreign concept to them in the next 10 years that like it is to us, where we're having to learn it. It's uncomfortable for us. Doesn't make as much sense. For them, they don't even question it. This is how they digital assets it's how they pass stuff back and forth. So I think like moving the NFT term aside and just saying like digital assets, that's what everybody's doing right now. They're just not calling it NFTs. It's still there. Now it's digital collectibles, whatever.
I spend money on digital assets every week. I buy new skins on Call of Duty. I buy new things on all these other
editing
games,
digital
whatever.
assets. Yeah.
No, it is. So it's the same
can
thing.
I also tell you though, I honestly think back to what we were talking about, or what you guys were talking about 3 hours ago. If they're telling you it's an investment, it's not for you if you don't understand it. Let the kids have this.
Yeah.
We don't get it.
Whoever
That's
likes it.
Brian, I watched you open digital packs of basketball
Oh, I
cards.
forgot
on a
about
live
those, bro.
opening.
Yeah.
What?
I
No,
forgot
I'm here to
about
remind
those.
you about that, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm here to remind you about that shit.
I need to go check on my packs. Are they worth anything?
But no, but Till is right though. I mean, it's we talk about this in comics all the time, right? The best speculation you could possibly do is not necessarily speculating on what you like, and that's the comfortable speculation. But speculate on what I speculate on what my kids watch. If my kids are watching a series and it's gone 7 seasons and my kids are still watching it, and then they come out with a comic book, guess who's buying a mountain of them? Me.
No, but that's because
in
you understand
10 years,
comic
that's
books.
nostalgia for them.
But that's because you understand comic books and you understand nostalgia.
Exactly.
But clearly,
10 years from now, NFTs might be the nostalgia for our 20 years from now. NFTs and things like that might be the nostalgia for our
the
kids.
amount of NFTs all of our dumb
It's a
shit
lot.
generation bought.
It's a lot.
Pissed money away on.
Yeah.
We didn't understand it when we should have been buying. Well, there we go. When we should have been buying skins
Tangible
on
assets.
Fortnite and investing in leaving our Fortnite accounts with the skeleton skin that you could only get for a 1 week.
Which are worth a lot of money.
Right. And guess what? We were buying fucking digital packs of basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I'm just saying, this
invest in what you know in. When it comes down to it, invest in what you
this
know
is
in.
one, Antilla, I know, but maybe this is one that we just let the kids have, and we just focus on what we do. And no offense, Tilla, but I also, and I'm not putting this on you, but everybody I see saying, dude, you got to give NFTs a chart. I already explained to you the three-dimensional triangle scheme that is Whatnot. It's the same thing.
I think that's a big problem, is that there was a lot of bad faith actors in the. But here's the thing, Vinny. I talk to Vinny all the time, and I love hearing about the stuff that he's doing, and that, like, Tilla, you're doing, where these events with these people,
3D digital assets. That's fucking amazing.
Yes, and that is great because there is a community for it that is massive. It's absolutely
and I'll tell you
massive.
who the smartest guy was from our generation. And I think I told you about this a year ago. Josh Blaylock.
Yes.
He got in with all those NFT guys, and he made the comic books for the NFT guys that they would send out to the people who won. And some of those comic books were going for $1,000 a piece because he understood comics. He's like, I don't understand this NFT thing, but they paid me to make the comics. I made the comics. I sent them out to everybody.
He knew enough.
To
capitalize on it.
And he was ahead of everybody in our community.
And Tilla knows enough that 10 years from now, we're going to be having a conversation with him in his fucking penthouse. And his
I'm going to take Tilla off screen so we don't. I'm going to take Tilla off screen so we don't blow up his head too much here. I agree with you on that, James. All right.
Well, he
knows enough from being on the inside of it that he'll know. He knows the track. He knows that it's damn near insider trading, only it's not. This motherfucker knows shit that's coming down the road 5, 10. He knows the roadmap because he's part of it, and good on him. And if I were to invest some money in a man and say, hey, tell me where the future is going to be in 20 years, it'd probably be me handing money over to Tilla. Or be me handing money to Josh for international books.
Yeah, there's some people that just they get it. They're
I don't understand it enough to do it myself, and I feel like that's where vast majority of people are. We don't understand it enough to do it ourselves.
That's just reiterating what I'm saying is if you don't understand it, stay the fuck out.
If you don't understand it, you should stay out of it.
Yep.
You should stay out of it.
Right now, for me, like if I could just read comics that have like digital assets like connected to it. That's all I would read. And if your book didn't have one, I'm not interested. Like, that's where I'm at, and those are the books I'm looking for.
Yeah, if it was an option and you were able to choose between the two, you choose the one that had the digital assets attached, or you can attach digital assets to physical assets too.
Which is the coolest part.
You can do that now.
That's what I love what you're doing with your book, and you're in the digital assets that are attached to the Musk versus Zuck stuff, the little Bitcoin stuff.
I heard a rumor that people should be scanning a QR code on the back.
Oh yeah, just in general. Like I pack my books with QR codes. Like they have.
I didn't know if there was anything going on with that. I just heard somebody else had mentioned it.
Yeah,
you hadn't heard anything about it, but somebody's like, make sure you scan the QR code.
Yeah. You definitely want to scan all the QR codes in the book. That's going to fill you in. But like we were talking about, earlier, the foil covers and things. This is where we can get creative. Is like having augmented reality. And I know this sounds like, kind of like, okay, we've seen that.
About that with you, yeah.
Yeah, there's been books that have had AR, but like, let's make it the norm, where it's not just like, oh, this is special, but like, no, our books, like you can expect there to be QR codes that link off of every page. You can expect an AR element on every single page. You can expect geographic, based AR, that if you have your book and if you're in New York and if you go to this location, this door is going to pop up and you're going to be able to walk through it and go into a gallery where you can view things. This is like, you know, I want books that focus on those bonus features. And if I could just shop in a store that only had that, that's where I would be. And I'm not seeing any of that on the market really. So
that's why you're creating it.
It's not sci-fi. That's the shit. That's shit that can be done right now.
Absolutely. So let's do the sci-fi shit plus all that you think is that's that's beyond us right now. Let's take all the stuff that is the here and now, but now let's get to the sci-fi and see how can we get quantum computing loaded in. How can I see my face on the character in my book so I can see, like me and my friends are in the book. Like,
did you see the was Alex Friedman podcast or the Lex Friedman podcast with
Lex Friedman?
With
I've been deep diving into Lex
Zuck
shit. I've been watching the hell of it
with Zuckerberg, where they're doing the. Yeah. Anyways, you guys, we are 3.5 hours into the show. I want to say thank you to everybody that hung out with us. 106 live till the end. We're gonna bounce out and jump into the Discord. If you guys want to hang out with us, the Discord link is below. We'll be in the after show lounge in the Discord. We will see you there. Make sure you guys, if you're in NYCC, stop by, say hello to Tilla. Make sure you find Tilla. You can find him on IG. Reach out to him. Let him know you're going to be in NYCC. Him and Vinny will be there. Shout out to Nate. Make sure you say hello to Nate. Make sure you stop by the Hive booth. Make sure you check out Wanted Comics and Big Clutch and all the homies. Bird City's going to be there. Shout out to is Bird City going to be with you guys, James? Or do they have their own booth?
Yeah, we split a booth with them because we did most of our exclusive. We did joint, so we decided.
Perfect.
And I was going to mention this earlier, but it's funny how many of these retailers did these exclusives for New York and then shared them with 4 other retailers that are all spread amongst the convention.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any financial sense to me. When we did all of our exclusives shared with Bird City and kept them all on the same booth, we're doing a profit share on our booth between the two of us because we work together. So
Good.
It's the best way to do it.
Amen. I agree with you,
Josh.
Josh.
I want to show one more exclusive. If you're at NYCC, get your hands on that Musk vs. Zuck. And we also got...
Oh, shit.
Oh, you weren't supposed to show that. You're in trouble. He's going to fucking rip you a new one. You weren't supposed to show that yet.
I was in a good mood. I'm in a good mood. And we saw a little bit of that earlier poster earlier tonight where I was like, okay, I got to, we got to blow the lid off this real quick. But yeah, so this week... Trust me, it's going to be a book you don't want to miss. And I want to, thank you, Bryan, for having me. And thank you guys for letting me sit here and be amongst you. And Dennis, it was a pleasure meeting you. Josh, shout out Fairport Harbor, Ohio.
Hell yeah, dude. And we gotta hang out.
Absolutely, dude. I'll be home for Thanksgiving. But to any artist out there that's hearing me, and I'm like an AI guy, but I'm also an artist and a 3D guy. I just want to say that it's such a privilege to have this platform to operate in this business of comic books and entertainment. And to anybody that's out there trying to, just do it and do it your own style. Don't listen to anybody. Create stories your own way. That's how we're doing it. And just want to support you guys on this channel for supporting the artists and getting behind us and making the world go round.
Amen, brother. That being said, we'll see you in the Discord and make sure you guys hang out after the show. We'll see you there. Adios.